Everyone, good morning and welcome to Ginger Prime. My name is Brian. If you're new, if you're checking this out as a part of a VOD, if you're trying to get caught up on all the things that are going on, we will be taking this, breaking this down, and turning it into a summary. So be sure to check the links below for all the information that you could possibly want to know, especially about patch 6.2 and this live letter. Chris will be joining me here shortly. The video and presentation will be in Japanese. We will be taking the English translation and also providing you guys lots of experience, like what's going on, why they might be doing what they do, and that's essentially going to be what we do with this live letter. I'll be sure to include the links to the Twitch as well. So if you prefer watching over on Twitch, that is also going to be there, and I'll also include a link to this video if you just want to go watch it for yourself without our commentary, layered on top of it. I'll do my best to chapter out this live stream once it's all said and done, namely so that if you're looking for specific bits of information, you can just jump right to it. My voice is a little bit still warming up because it is bright and early in the morning. The live letter will officially kick off here in roughly 30-ish minutes. To which then we'll dive, full into it, and we'll go for how long it is. Once that's all said and done, we will raid over to the podcast itself, and with the podcast, we'll have a good old time summarizing it, and we'll take that as well. So, lots of content today, lots of things to be excited about. I'm gonna sip on my old coffee here. Let me grab the link. And make sure it is actually a part of the, let's see here, video, direct video. Actually, I can go ahead and turn up that music. Hopefully that's a good, decent balance for you guys. Hopefully you can hear that. But when the video actually starts going, I'm gonna drop down that volume for you guys. Oh yeah. Okay, I think I got everything set up, which is exactly what I was hoping to have. All right, sweet. So, as the kind of answer some basic questions that you might be running as we kind of run it and dive into this pre-show. First and foremost, the thing I'm most excited about is the Criterion Dungeon. I think the Criterion Dungeon, at least on paper, sounds like the most interesting bit of content that could be different, could change up how we view dungeons going forward. We've long wished that there was some kind of ground that the dungeons could evolve into. Anybody who's been playing this game long enough feels like, oh, that's a nice little dungeon, and then you master it within 30 minutes, and then eventually it gets down to can you clear it sub 10? What's going on, Travis? Travis says, hey Brian, I'm on the last hour and a half of a 12-hour shift, so I'll ride this crazy train until I pass out. Well, good morning to you, Travis. That's are you a nurse, or are you a doctor? A 12-hour shift? That's a long shift. I wish I had good internet. Says, is the continuation of the trials next patch? So I don't know what you mean. Well, I guess, yeah. Okay, sorry. With the actual trial series, I guess you could say that. Typically, no. Or typically this last patch would have been the ultimate, but yeah. I would assume so. Yeah, 6.2. All right. Good morning, Chris. How are you doing, dude?
Good morning.
Oh, there's my alarm saying, wake up. You're supposed to be live.
Hey, there's a man. There's a man on the secondary stream.
Oh, what's going on? I'm on the second screen.
I gotta take the chroma key off of him. That's me that's doing that.
Good morning.
Perfect.
Do you think, I wish I had good internet, says, is the continuation of the trials next patch?
Yes. Do I think there's a trial next patch? Yes.
Let me see. I wonder if they're doing their test.
Somebody said they did the test. I think Chris said they did the test an hour ago. So this might be the real. I mean, them hanging out. They may go intermission, but they may stay live. We'll see. Okay, you got me in the show?
Yeah, you're here.
I'm here. I'm her.
You're here. Her. What's up, Sephiroth?
Why is it not doing my third display capture correctly?
Oh, okay.
Yo.
That makes sense.
Okay, I have like. And then.
I'm turning it down.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. Look at that.
Okay, so they did their sound check. Well, I guess, yeah.
All right. So
That's
now
fun.
I've got the ability to toggle us between.
HTTP's coming on. Okay. They starting early?
9, 8.
足音でけえ。足音でけえ。そんなに拾うんだ。
Maybe they're starting early.
足音ね。
Maybe they are.
新しくしたからね。
Yeah, the next alliance rate is going to be 6.3. The next Savage series is 6.2. Howdy, Soj.
Okay. Well, if they're really ready.
Yeah, they're ready. Like, let's.
I mean,
Let's
the problem is sometimes this is when they take questions, and like this 30-minute early portion is why Brian and I are live. It's why we show up about an hour early. Is because like Yoshi P one time went on a whole tirade about his stance on like Final Fantasy 14 and ever having NFTs. That was like a real thing that he just came in and did. He just came in and bantered and got off on a whole tirade, and it was like, I don't know, that's like a huge policy statement to just kind of toss out loosely. So, you know, he said there would never be NFTs in Final Fantasy 14. Not the Square Enix one ever have them. But he wants nothing to do with that in Final Fantasy 14.
なるほどね。
そんなこともあるもん。
はい。
ということで
ですかね。まあちょっとね、タイムラグがあるから、
What we got here?
音量計が増えてきた。
He's getting stuff listed, man. Boy, I can sell some stuff off. Brian, I think I'm going to try to level my descent next.
Oh, yeah?
I
Where
think
you
that's
at?
the play.
Where you at on descent? Okay.
A little all over the place. So the one that's always lagging behind is Alchemy. So Alchemy's down at 115. I'd like to get them all above 560. The only one I have above 560 right now is Culinarian. Goldsmith right behind it, down in the 513 range. So I've only got two that are 500 plus. The problem with Alchemy is like it's really just grimoires.
Okay.
Like that's it's scholar and it's arcanist stuff. That's it. Summoner scholar stuff that gets you there. So I don't know if the best bet's to just go farm weapon coffers.
Oh, and just kind of break those things down?
These guys are the creators of Final Fantasy 14. So the guy on the left is Yoshi P, director and producer. The guy on the right is Foxconn. So kind of
what they were.
Yeah, what's Foxconn's job at this point?
I don't know what his title is. Just FYI, he was announcing that they're actually having some issues with their connection with Twitch. So if people are watching or having issues on Twitch, they can go watch on YouTube. So it's a crazy way to advertise for Work the Game, bud. That $20 I slipped him at the last Fan Fest. If you ever have problems.
風熱風抜けるからやるといいよって
YouTube
言われて
FFXIV.
バタンバタンします
And then Yoshi P was saying, just be careful with the heat of the summer. He doesn't want anybody getting sick or dying from heat exhaustion.
I have both pulled up just in case.
エアコンもねそんな
Yeah,
Is
I've got the
he
YouTube
JP
up.
Community Manager? I would not shock me if he has that title, among others. So there are certain people like
風は流すと
Christopher Koji Fox, like there's certain people that just have like a lot of jobs. So one of the reasons this game feels so cohesive is that a lot of the people at the top have been there the whole time, and they've continued to leave their impact in every system that they're responsible for. The downside of that is when many of us have felt like Yoshi looks particularly tired or something like that, is we have thought, what happens to this game if any of that inner circle were to step away, to move on another project, to just retire, to just spend less time on this game, to work on another game, spend more time with their family, any number of reasons. They're real people entitled to real lives, but like what happens to Final Fantasy XIV? So seeing that inner circle expand over the years has been, I think, really healthy and stabilizing for the game. But there is still absolutely a core set of faces. And these are two of them.
All right.
The man, the myth, the legend on the left there.
And thank you guys for the 12 likes over here on YouTube. Big support this morning. I already got a bunch of people in here. So hopefully you guys are having a good time. Hopefully you guys enjoy the stream itself. Just as a reminder, Chris and I will be summarizing this up. We'll be taking it also up, posting over on Work to Game. So lots of content. There's sure to be lots of thoughts, especially as we start to see a glimpse into more of the systems. Chris, like, are you like, what's your favorite? What's the system you're most excited about in terms of? You're looking for
Criterion. Because, like, as a longtime player, Brian and I have been covering live letters since late Heavensward, publicly as Work to Game.
Mm-hmm.
August 8th is 7 years.
I don't even know anymore. That's how you know it's
A lot of
been a
years
while.
of Work to Game. August 8th is our official anniversary as a duo. I'm sure our wives want to make it very clear that is a anniversary that is well below our anniversaries with them. But that is the Work to Game birthday. I actually keep all my like birthdays and stuff pretty private just because those are interest to security questions. So like that's when I also celebrate my birthday publicly, my anniversary publicly, the first day I ever drove a car publicly. If you want to know anything about me, it all happened on August 8th. It's an incredible day. And so that's coming up. And so we've been covering this all that time. And in that time, there's been a pattern. And that pattern, if anything, has been filled with bad news. We've gone from 3 dungeons per patch kind of to for sure to 1. We get 1 dungeon per patch.
I remember when it was 1.5. Now it's like 1, and I'm just kind of just like wondering and waiting if it ends up going and saying, "Hey guys, like we're at, you know, a half a dungeon a patch. You get 1, then you're off a month, off a patch, then you get 1." And honestly, like when you talk about Criterion dungeons, let's say that's a scalable, you know, because like not just in terms of party, but let's say that the dungeons get more challenging, so you as a player get to push yourself to some theoretical wall, right? The current dungeons aren't hard enough, but Criterion comes and steps in. I would be perfectly fine if it is a system that offers the majority of players what they've been looking for. If it's a system that takes over the current dungeons, and so the dungeons they're released are part of like the expansion, and so then you don't have to tell a story that always has you going into a dungeon, right? Because that's the kind of thing. Like, oh, yeah, that's the dungeon that's the story dungeon. Every patch you have to go into a story, you know.
So right now Yoshi's talking about does summer break. People are asking if he takes summer breaks, and he's saying, what is this summer break you talk about? But just as a reminder, the new roadmap does build in a 1 week lapse in the dev cycle every summer and every winter. So when we're counting out patch weeks now, they are looking to be more predictable, more exact with that number of weeks. So far, since they've announced it, they've hit the 2 patches since then exactly on the head. So we'll see if they can remain that consistent. And he's saying now, of course, the Square Enix staff members do take breaks, and so that would be the one in the summer. So we're now looking at 16-week cycles with a half patch on those 8-week. We're looking at 17-week cycles in the summer and in the winter. So add that extra weekend and whatever patches are affected by that.
Now, chat wants to know, will we ever do a duel in PvP for who is the champion of the channels? For just bragging rights is what.
Oh, it's you. You're better at PvP. It's you. I'm terrible at classes. I have them all leveled, though.
But by the way, guys, if y'all haven't seen Chris hit Omni 90 yesterday,
I might
right?
have been dead when it hit.
What's up?
I might have been dead when it hit.
You're
I can go back and look at the clip.
You're tired, or you're just
I was playing first person Bard.
First person Bard.
Yeah, first person looking at the floor. I was like, I can read these boss mechanics looking at the floor. Which the run right before that, I had a clean run.
Yeah.
Clean run. Looking at the floor. I can dodge all the boss mechanics, no vuln stacks. But I will tell you, that boss has already gotten me on Lulu this week, so you gotta be careful with that. Filthy Bard went last.
That was Filthy Bards.
Filthy Bard. We did Frontlines Roulette, and we only hunted down Bards. That was what I ran in as a samurai, and we just hunted Bards. Dove deep. I mean, I dove deep into enemy territory for those Bards. They're cowards. They hide back there.
Back in the back of the line.
Oh. We got some good ones.
Chat saying at least you're no longer a Bard. Chat saying at least you're no longer a Bard. You got the work done.
I'm no longer a Bard.
You took your bow, you right-clicked dismiss, or what is it?
Yeah. I can't even get on that class anymore. It's level 90, delete. No, it's good. It's good. Have you guys seen the level 90, the level 89, 90, the AF set? It's like a suave Three Musketeers Cruella Deville thing. Yeah.
We got somebody asking like, what's wrong with Bard? It's like, it's literally a running meme. There was somebody who said you guys just hate Bard, and that kind of shocked us. We're like, what?
I was like, I do, and they're like, yeah, that's why Work to Game exists, so that you guys can constantly spread misinformation about how bad Bard is.
And so we just said, well, if that's what the internet thinks, we're just gonna own it.
See, Brian and I don't have an official office, so I never get a chance to see the mission statement on the wall when I come in every day. But now I know.
F Bards.
Hate Bard.
You know, it's cool though. Like New World's actually getting a Bard in which you have multiple music things, and it's like, so I'm like that meme will die soon because it's like, Brian, like what do you do in New World, Brian? I just sit around and play my guitar all day in the game and give out buffs.
So
it's wild.
So when we were making our tier list, somebody suggested that we thumbnail it, At Least I'm Not a Bard, and that's what we did. And I will tell you, people didn't have to watch that video to tell us how they felt. There were some people that weren't happy about it, and they were singing a song about how great their class is. They were upset.
So Yoshi P says he is well aware of the popularity of the Shiba mount, and it's a good thing that it's popular. It would be nice if this can attract new players when they know nothing about the game and see the Shiba mount in from the tweets. Yeah, I was pissed off.
It's $24 account wide. Account wide.
I don't care. I saw it and I was like, that's I was like another cash round. I'm like, all right. I just you know, my stance on cash ops is like I have no problem with them, but I prefer a method in which that there is a road to getting there. And Jess, my eyes are hurt. Jasmine
Azura.
Thank you so much. 5 gifted subs over on Twitch, almost to our Twitch sub goal. Woo! Thank you, Jasmine. On the YouTube side, if anybody does do a gifted sub, if you guys haven't seen how that works, a little thing will pop up at the top that says accept gift. It's a strange thing. YouTube's still figuring it all out, but thank you again, Jasmine.
So I need to talk to my wife about it, but I think when we hit our sub goal, I'm gonna do a Ponto style stream, and we're gonna chase something like that bird. Chase that bird.
Chase that bird. Archivist, good morning. Won't be able to hang out around long, but you wanted to pop by and say hello. Well, hello to you.
All right. It's good to see you. It's good to see everybody in. Distorted, good morning. Gene, good morning. Everybody, hello, hello. This is good. Yoshi P spectacles. Let's make some Final Fantasy 14 themed glasses. And he's like, yeah, that's a possibility. They are super good at pushing merch, guys. Any of you who've never seen a live letter, this is why when like Brian and I see like the Final Fantasy community that's like, we're way better than insert X MMO here. They're always like pushing things, and subscription gets you everything you need in 14. Enjoy the live letter, ladies and gentlemen. Because they are going to push some merch. They are going to push some merch.
When it comes down to it, like that's one of the
it
things
doesn't bother me. I just think it's a weird thing to like.
It doesn't bother me, but it's always like we heavily believe it in context, and so it's like when somebody said something that is just blatantly not true, they're
right.
It's like okay, and then yes, and then like
the picture that started it all.
Oh gosh,
this is it. This is the picture that destroyed the world.
I have so many nervous issues with this because we don't know what this truly is, and I want it to be amazing, but I have a feeling that based off of how the internet has reacted to this image alone over the last year, that if this thing does not deliver on what was specifically said,
what was
not promised, like we're about to see, and it's like. And the thing is that like I want this to be awesome, and then at the end of the day I'm just sitting here going like I'm gonna have to get some Tums if I see people on the internet whining about whatever they thought that whatever they built this system to be in my mind. Oh man, this is the thing where I'm like, where like people I legit, if it doesn't deliver, I legit see people going, I'm quitting 14, I'm done with this game, I've given it 10,000 hours. You know, it's like that bullshit, you know, I mean, I'll just mean that bull.
So for anybody that doesn't know what this image is, the first time this image was shown to us, it had the word island and sanctuary. That's all. 2 words you can Google. They're not new. And they were just put next to each other. And Yoshi P's like, yeah, this will be like a fun new piece of content. They've done that in the past with new things. Word 1, word 2. Adventure plates were originally called something different. It's a working title. What were adventure plates called? They were called, I don't know, calling cards. And so we're looking at something, we might call it calling cards. It'll probably get another name. We don't really know. It was originally tied to PvP. We think we want it to be more than PvP.
Oh, we definitely want more than PvP.
And then it turned into something, and it came into the game. And now that we have hands on it, we're like, oh, this is what I hope it turns into and all that. And so that's what he expected, the calling card level of reaction. And people said, oh my God, I can't believe they put Animal Crossing in game. And he goes, it's not Animal Crossing. Oh my God, guys, he said Animal Crossing. He said it. He said the words. Clip it, cut a little bit of it out, and he pretty much confirmed it. I said it's not Animal Crossing. It could never be Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is a full-featured title by talented devs who have done it over generations. We could never do that. This is going to be a smaller piece of content that's going to grow. Yeah, I already got you. It's Animal Crossing. I know. And so, like, it has just spiraled out of control.
Oh, yeah.
And people are like, it's housing. He's like, it's not housing. It's not housing. And they're like, well, what is it? And he goes, well, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit more about what it is, but I showed you a idea in the form of a watercolor with some words, and you all freaked out. So I don't really want to talk about it until I can show screenshots or preferably gameplay, because you guys are insane. Which is fair.
Yeah.
That's very fair. So he's really been tight-lipped on it since then. A couple of times he's addressed things it's not. That's about it.
Thank you guys also over here on the YouTubes for 46 likes. That's a great way to support these streams, help them get out to the rest of the world and the rest of the internet. So if you feel like it earns it, be sure to hit that like button and go subscribe to Gaming Kinda if you haven't already. Chris actually did some. He's starting to post some stuff on Guild Wars 2 and more. So we're gonna have I think a really good MMO 2022 and going forward into 2023 as well.
I did a weird thing this week, Brian.
What'd you do?
I filmed a post on what level sync is if I was talking to somebody who maybe just finished Endwalker,
Mhm.
they've leveled up their first class to cap, and now they're starting to say, like, I want to go do old content, or I want to level in alt, or something like that. And then I film that same post as if I was talking to a Guild Wars player, and in that same post as if I was talking to a World of Warcraft player. And in each one, I also reference how other games do it, but in that game's terms. So how does Guild Wars do it in Final Fantasy terms? How does World of Warcraft do it in Final Fantasy terms? And then I ran them all at the same time. Just pushed them all out on 3 separate channels. I mean, I'm no Brian. Brian has like 6 channels, guys.
6. That's weak sauce, man.
he used to do 1 per child, and then he found, you know, while his wife is amazing and he loves her dearly, she is bound by a mortal frame, and only being able to put out a child at a rate of kind of once every 9 to 12 months is just not fast enough.
It's not
YouTube
fast
channels.
enough for YouTube channels.
And so he had to disconnect
You
that
get
requirement so that
you
he
can
could
get
put
2
out
YouTube channels
faster.
per year. So based off of like your because you need a phone number for verification, you can do 2 per year. So I've been
That's not a limit anybody else needs to worry about.
that's a limit that I hit. And so like somebody
Brian's
asked me
like,
the other day.
Gosh, does anybody else think it's ridiculous that a YouTube brand account can only have 600 channels underneath
Only
it?
600.
Like, what the hell?
Jeez, come on. What's happening? No, what I found is this, and just like one of the things I want to put together for a video for anybody. This is like just me as I like to test out the algorithm, etc. But ultimately, here's what's happened. The viewers, everybody here is a part of this community. Their enjoyment and their happiness has gone up. Like it's a measurable. It's not measurable, but people who are actually weighing in are sharing like this is so much better, because at first you're like, well, what am I doing? But now, like, if you only like Final Fantasy content, this is a Final Fantasy stream. Prime is still variety. It's always been variety, but one of the things ends up being is like I posted this week on Outriders, and I posted this week on Blue Protocol, and I posted this week on, and so YouTube doesn't really either know how to figure it out, or it serves the video up to somebody who's like, I'm just really not into Blue Protocol. That's cool. So moving and having a focus on being able to cover the news and etc., like I can do so. And then people were over on, like, I renamed it Final Fantasy GP. We're just kind of testing out what is a sub channel.
It's the Untitled Goose Game of
Yeah.
channels. It's a working title.
And so after this, the live letter, we'll actually raid over to Final Fantasy GP. That's where we're going to do the podcast and summary. The YouTube will actually now handle all that. So the technology is getting better. So my vision that I've had on this entire time is improving. So we're going to have a good show, etc. I love seeing all the emotes in chat. Like it's one of the things like with YouTube, it's like, all right, we're slowly getting there. We're slowly getting there.
They're figuring it out.
I paid a guy to design us some additional emotes, and like he totally like bounced and ghosted. So we'll see if we ever get said emotes.
Oh.
So as Zoe
I'm trying to
says,
finish
is
things this
something.
year. That's my new goal. I'm trying to finish things. So the next task I'm trying to finish is my brother-in-law and I started building a game. We've been playing it on Twitch with everybody.
Yeah.
And we have a set number of features before we'd consider that game into a complete base state. Not that we're done updating it, but like the base set of features of what makes it a complete game. And at this point, he's mostly waiting on me. So my next goal is to get all that done. That'll be the 3rd thing I finish this year.
Woohoo.
Truly finished.
Yeah.
I have a tendency of starting things, getting to like 80 to 90%, that last little grind.
It's always
and then
that.
I'm like, let's just start the new thing. I already know how this works. The new thing's way more exciting.
We've gone out to dinner, and Claire and I have kind of, like, his wife and I have kind of talked about that. It's like, it's like all Chris has to do is like check this box. Can anybody just have Chris press this button, and the thing that he was working so hard on will be done? It's like, come on, dude. And it's like, I'll do it tomorrow. No, do it now.
I trained for a marathon, and they say that if you can run a half marathon, like, you're ready. And I got to where I could do a 14-mile run and then just never signed up for the marathon.
So Zoe was asking kind of what's going on.
Never did it.
They're having some technical issues over on Twitch, so they kind of did a pre-show that wasn't really a show. It was more like them, I guess, continuing to test out maybe some of the issues and get those worked out. And basically they just shared, talking about kind of like, hey, it's summer, be safe. They start talking about the new cash store mount, which I had a couple of private conversations with people who are like looking at that and upset that there's not a way to earn it in game. And I'm like, I fall into that category. I fall into that category. I understand it also. from how
They're
like
adding new data centers. Like
Right.
the Mog Station was always originally promoted to do new data centers.
and we're
And on
getting
July
that.
5th, we get a new data center in GP. We get 4 new worlds in EU, and then in August we're gonna come around and do this again.
And
We
NA.
just got Oceanic, so like,
Yeah.
I don't care. Go nuts. Go nuts. Mega Shibu it up. Do it.
What
I
if
don't
though
care.
they were like it's tied into SHIB the cryptocurrency.
Great.
Every time you
Great.
write it,
I
SHIB is
bought
just
a little bit
following
of
it.
that back when it was worth like 10 trailing zeros. The same way I would buy a scratch off. That's how I viewed it. I was like, you know what? And then like a scratch off, I just checked it every day. And when it was going on a run there, I was like, if this gets to like 1/100 of a penny, I'm gonna sell. And people are like, don't you want to be a millionaire? No, because I will tell you right now, that'll pay off my house and pay the taxes on it.
So-
We'll call that good.
So Soj says Ginger and Asmund should get together and talk about the store mounts. I'll be happy if anybody wants to set that up. I don't really have a connection like to his people, and outside him reacting to my content. So like beyond that, Soj, if you want to go and help get that set up, I'll absolutely collab. And we'll talk about cash store mounts for sure. What's up, Fear the Beard?
Blitzball. Guys, they've been talking about Blitzball since 2017.
Yeah.
Like, if they mention Blitzball, it means nothing. They won't, but if they do, so there we go.
See, and that's where this gets really difficult because Subdu says, I agree with the view that mounts should be somewhat available, at least in-game models, maybe a different kind of mount, right? Like you have the SHIB and then there's something that you can earn. But I would say like it gets really tricky. And this is where like when it comes to monetization within MMOs, I honestly still feel like we're in a discovery phase because of how much has changed over the last 20 years. And you have to create some form of sustainability. And I think all of us can agree that the sub-only model, with the fact that like prices and inflation have all increased, and that has not changed in 20 years, that it's just like from a cost perspective, there's a lot of risk involved. So what is it? What ends up being the right pathway? And a lot of people have been doing some experiments, and that gives me hope. But when it comes down to currency transfers, you also you can see the worst of it within Diablo Immortal. And then I would say I still think that Guild Wars 2 does probably the best job at it, but people will still come in and argue against it, being that there's a way that you can spend money and you can get in-game currency. So like there is a wide range of things that are being tried out, and personally, like speaking, I wouldn't mind a way to play and actually be able to turn my like in-game money into a store mount. But I know that becomes a very difficult conversation to have, and that's I honestly think why it's been avoided. Yoshi P literally said, so Chris, we haven't talked about this in a while, but while we wait here for a minute, Yoshi P said that he was gonna, like, if the WoW token for World of Warcraft was a success, he would look at it really bringing it into Final Fantasy 14. And he has never talked about it ever again. So he either is like, no, that's actually not working out the way that they want, or the way that I see it, or that it's like there's things that we're going to seriously have to change when it comes down to it. So, I mean, it's been years since the WoW token has been in place, and Yoshi P's like, that would be a question that I'd like to see him answer. Like, hey, you talked about bringing it in. If WoW was successful with it, what are your thoughts? Because that would be a way of transferring cash store mounts into anybody's hands. You could literally, I want to buy a token, and instead of redeeming it for this, I could redeem it for that. But
Yoshi has a lot of respect for other devs, much in the same way that you see like some professional athletes will like vacation with each other's families and they talk very good about other organizations. Meanwhile, their fans are like beating the crap out of each other in some bar. And so like Yoshi has always been very respectful, but he occasionally throws shade at WoW every once in a while. Two of his big shade throwing moments were during the media tour, where he said we would never be the type of game that
go like 9 months.
go like Like we're looking at reevaluating the patch schedule, which they've since announced. We now know that it's gone from 3.5 months to 4 months. But he said, but while I can't talk about it yet, I just want you to know we would never be the sort of game that would go like 10 months. Like we would never do that. You know, like we would never be one of those games. Meanwhile, like WoW was in the middle of going like 200 days.
Mm-hmm.
Match, thank you so much for sharing Prime with us.
5 to go over on Twitch, and Mr. Worldwide, 7 months at the $1 Member Club here on Ginger Prime. Thank you, Mr. Worldwide, Warrior of Light, best name.
The second thing he said that tossed major shade on WoW at the media tour was that he never wants to be one of those games where people wonder if devs play it, which was a common critique of WoW.
Mm-hmm.
Do the devs even play? But yeah, when it comes to things like the WoW token, he's been like if WoW does it really well, we would consider it. And then he just never talked about it again, which speaks volumes. All right, guys, strap in, go get some coffee. You got about 3 hours. There will be a brief intermission. So those of you that drink coffee and then would need a bio break, you'll get one. We will go back over the summary at that point. We'll summarize at that point.
Thank you, Mr. Worldwide, for the $5 super sticker. I appreciate that support, man.
8 months, Tringy. We'll be live translating, tossing some context in. We will have their volume muted because they're speaking Japanese only today. The nice thing about the Japanese ones, they're about twice as fast because they don't have to wait to say everything twice.
Yeah, that was always like we ended up having a lot of like they were also doing the English translations, which was great for a lot of context. But yeah, that was like that's a 4, 5, 6 hour live letter that we were jumping into.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely, man.
Chili gifting a sub to Backburner. Guys, the support's incredible. The support, thank you guys so much. It makes my day. It's the only thing that makes my day brighter than how good coffee tastes from this here Fashionista mug. We are the unofficial sponsor of Fashionista in that I paid them for a mug. You know, that's how sponsorships work, I think. And so it's really great. I hope other businesses will let me give them money. It's a neat opportunity, and I want to say thanks to the people over at Lulu for taking my cash.
Yeah, good morning, guys. And just as a reminder, we'll be summarizing all of what they kind of reveal, and the live stream on the YouTube side will raid over into that video and discussion for you guys once this is all concluded, and we will chapter mark and all that. Thank you guys for the likes. Good morning to everybody who's just now popping in. This will be in Japanese only, but like Chris said, we'll be doing handling the live translation. With the Reddit community. They did say they have been doing some apologies at the start of this live letter. He said 6.1 had some issues, and they're very sorry about that. So they're working on that. And this is the 7th producer of the live letter. The last one was April 1st. So the 1st to the July. So 3 months.
Tour. Yeah. Stop with the apology tour. Endwalker has been the apology tour, Yoshi P. It just, Chili, thank you so much for gifting us up to Sidex. And then for anybody that has to peace out, keep in mind the first half's going to be loaded. Second half's going to be QVC, maybe some interview type stuff, some context. We will get a second portion of the live letter 2 weeks out from the patch, give or take. And that will be when they show like gameplay. So don't expect to run around an island sanctuary today. Not saying they can't do it, just don't expect to. WoW copied Guild Wars. We'll see. Apologizing on Canada Day. Oh, how polite. Oh, that's
apologizing on Canada Day.
Oh, sorry about our holiday, eh?
Oh yeah, 618 baby, data center travel. Like outside of 6.2's content, this has been the one thing I have just been dying
for. July
for.
4th off. That is a day where
blow
that's
things
the one
up.
day where Americans forget that the Brits are allies and cheer loudly that long ago we got in a fight with you. So Meteor data center. This is the new one. They had 10, 11, and 11. That's 32 worlds over just 3. So it's making login jams. So they're moving to 4, which will make them go 8, 8, 8, and 8. 8, 8, 8, and 8. Which 8 worlds per server is what we have here on NA. Works very, very, very well. Like Grim tossing 100 bits. And then we have new worlds for the European data center because they only have 6 worlds per data center, which is not enough. It's not enough worlds. Plenty of login space, right? The door into the club is plenty wide. We don't have enough space in the club. So we're now going to be adding to taking them from 6 and 6 up to 8 and 8. And then we're looking at replacing some server equipment there. The EU server equipment in particular has been the one data center that they have said we would like some maybe better hardware over there.
A little bit.
Just like a tiny little bit.
Man, we're gonna have to do something really, really fun for the data center.
Chris, maybe I misread your comment. You're saying July 4th is the only day U.S. Americans are overly patriotic. I know, we are so humble, but we're actually the most humble.
Most of them.
All right, so this is all just catching up. This is just a rehash of the news because it's coming up next week. This is the 6.2 live letter, but when there's a patch right around the corner, they go ahead and go over it.
Yeah.
This also happens at like live letters that happen at like FanFest because the live letter will be timed with the event, not when it's like it might be out of sync when the normal live letter is. Fudge, 3 months. 3 months.
And 84 likes. Can we get to 100? I'm gonna challenge you guys. Can we get 100?
Season 2
people
of Crystalline Conflict is also coming.
Buried Memory. That's the name of the patch. Buried Memory. Oh, heck yeah.
Can you imagine if after all the years of shaking his head and saying no, this tied back to some element of 1.0?
I would love it.
It might.
Well, there were things like there's a lot of stuff I miss about 1.0.
Buried Memory. Tell me on the doll where 1.0 hurt your computer. It's the flower vases. The flower vases is where it crashed everything. It's the 65 million polygon flower vases.
Yeah.
Okay.
Late August 2022, Chris. Are you gonna
my
update
prediction
your
was August 9th.
Yeah, I was like, I might go mid-August.
Okay.
But I was thinking late August. That actually puts it well over 4 months in terms of the cycle. That's perfectly fine.
Is that the 23rd, you think?
I think that's the 23rd, guys. Let's sound off in chat. I'm gonna put up a poll. We have a little bit more to work with, so
okay.
August, that would be
do they delay Savage by 2 weeks? Do they delay Savage by 2? Historically, they have not. Do they delay Savage into September? When Lama Todd asked me when the next Savage was, I said beginning of September would be when I would want it, because he was trying to play on vacations. Do they delay it? Or do they... Now, historically, the 0.0 Savage is delayed so people can get their MSQ, but the 0.2 and 0.4 Savage can just suck it.
23rd, and then Aug 30. All right, and we go. Poll is up over here on the YouTube side, so feel free to weigh in. What are we going to be getting, Chris? What are they getting with 6.2? I have a
I think
high
we might
probability.
get some MSQ.
Yeah,
I'm going to bet on MSQ.
New MSQ.
I'd like to purchase
MSQ
Sid's for 500.
Sid looks to be making an appearance back in the MSQ, baby.
That man is 34. All right, so we're gonna get some new MSQ.
Playing having a little sexy time, peekaboo.
I'm trying to drive.
Thanks, it's 6.2 is Island Sanctuary, but we don't know if that's in the 0.2 or the 0.25. That's always kind of where sometimes sometimes I've seen frustration from a lot of new players. They're like, hey, where's this? And it's like, oh, that's actually in the half patch, which, we recently just had our half patch.
So I need to go back and do the math on that, because that'll be the first time that we get, that's an additional data point since the new roadmap. All we've had is 6.1 and 6.15 since the roadmap was given out. And so that's what I was basing my guesses on. So now we need to go back and say, okay, where does 6.2 adjust things, and where does that kick it? Because as it sits, it looked like 7.0 was winter of next year, which I would prefer it to be spring of the following, just because I want spring releases, not because I want it to be a 2.5-year cycle.
Right.
All right. New side quests. Tataru's Grand Endeavor continues. Did you do Tataru's Grand Endeavor?
I haven't messed with it yet.
Don't worry, you've already completed it.
That's what I heard. I was like, okay.
It's like one quest. Hey, my name's Tataru. And that's it. That's the whole quest. I I really thought it'd be more. Meanwhile, the Omega quest line, man, strap in, bring a snack. That thing is long. That thing is long. And as a guy that hasn't done Omega yet, I'm doing Coils and 2.5 for the first time next week.
Ooh,
it's a long time story skipper.
Making deals with them Sky Pirates. Let's go. So your chat is my voice cracks, is also thinking August 23rd. Mine is at 61% thinking August 23rd. We have 18% that thinks it could be August 30th. So that's pretty. I think everybody's
contributed points to that, and Wolfman hates Bard, so that's it's good information.
Yeah. And Kritiv, and I'm gonna butcher the name, pushing us to our first goal.
Shadow of Mach. Was that required before?
Yeah, that's the Sky Pirates.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you've done, cool. you got. He's been playing through the story.
I don't know
guys.
what this is. I started in Shadowbringers story wise. I've been playing since ARR.
But you've been doing ARR. So as you step in.
I'm about to step into 2.5.
As you step also into Heavensward though, and stuff like, there's a lot that will start to make more sense for you.
Chili says he didn't think he needed it before. Okay, so that's a new requirement. So that might be an indicator.
You haven't needed it in terms of it, but if you did it, you actually got extra cutscenes and people in Endwalker.
So the thing is, my character I do run the content. I just push escape, so I get all that extra stuff. I just don't know what any of it means. Oh my god, it's amazing! It's amazing. Like truly sharing Prime with us, guys. That pushes us to our goal. That was our goal for the last month. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, that
July 1st. So I appreciate Twitch saying July 1st counts as part of June. Thank you guys for hitting our June goal.
Woohoo.
We did it. Thank you. Really means a lot. More Hildebrand. Brian and I are not caught up on Hildebrand. It's the one thing that Brian has.
I'm about to step into the previous Hildebrand storyline, so I'll make sure I announce that when I set that up to do that. I've been just working on my Omni 90. Chris, guys, if you haven't seen, hit Omni 90 yesterday. I think about 44 levels. I'm like 44 levels away,
44
so
levels out.
I'm getting really close. The Steam Deck has been a huge help in helping me pick up the pace, which is great. I have a question over here, though, I want to answer. Do you guys think that they'll ever allow us duo with trusts? I think it could be used for a great teaching tool and help some people with the group anxiety. I honestly, that's the next real focus that I have in terms of continuing to provide that feedback. I think that would be something very valuable. What I hear a lot of is that me and my wife, or me and my girlfriend, or my boyfriend, or my, like whoever my significant other might be, we just want to play together, right? Like we came into this game together, and now like one of us has anxiety and we don't want to and so like the system says it's either one or many, and it doesn't really kind of fit into that range of like, well, what if you have an odd 3 people? What if there's like, if I was going to play this game with Maddie, I would want to play within a trust way. So,
all right, is that our relic? 0.25?
That has to weapon enhancement quest. I would call that the relic, and 6.25.
They haven't said anything about relic. Just like they hadn't said anything. Barry said, I hope we see Blue Mage. They did say during the media tour that we would be getting Blue Mage this expansion, but it was not mentioned during the roadmap. So we don't know when. Remember that we have Criterion Dungeon in 6.2. We have Deep Dungeon in 6.3. So my question is, what side content is set aside for 6.4? Keep in mind that Blue Mage was originally released mid-expansion. It was a FanFest announcement. So it was a late expansion addition to the game. So it could be a nice big deal late in the patch, kind of like Nox hitting 10 months of support.
Unlocked and somehow further Hildebrand adventures?
What?
Wait, this might be completely different. Or, holy crap.
Can you imagine if Hildy was required for Relic?
That would... That I mean, holy crap. That would be amazing. And at the same time, oh, did you not do Hildy, Brian?
So guys, I just did my first anima weapon for the first time the other day, and I got like emotionally attached to a weapon, and the whole time I was like, I'm just gonna toss this in a retainer. Now I'm like, I have to carry it with me, like it's my safety animal. And I love it so much, and I cuddle that axe and to go to sleep at night. And so like, I would love to be attached to another story, but part of me says, how do we get new people in if it requires all of that prep work? That would be nuts.
We will be making
armor. Imagine we got relic armor again.
We will be making Manderville weapons. with quest-centric progression, which moment I guess
Are we just tossing the previous Relic systems? Relic has been iterative.
yeah.
It updates through 6.x. Guys, we heard you liked Baz Jazadnor. We heard you liked Eureka. I don't care about that. We're doing something new.
Well, there's a
Oh
lot
my
of people who
God.
didn't like Baz Jazadnor and Eureka. There's a lot of people who did not like that.
Well, I mean,
I don't know
thankfully,
how I
Baz
feel about this.
Baz and Eureka are still alive, and so people that do like it can go back and do it. It is still those.
This
Discords
is the
are still
Relic.
doing it. Data Center Visitor even better. Look at this
This
guy.
is the
So
Relic.
I just met this guy, and I met him from the future. I did the Heavensward Relic, but I haven't done Heavensward. I'm doing things out of order. It's my method, and I want it now. Oh my gosh, I like this guy. Oh yes, Relic.
Done through the comedy side quests.
What? What?
All right, we're gonna do a new poll. I'm gonna get like I wonder if if my heat map is off on this one. Thank you guys also for the 121 likes. We got almost 500 people here on the stream. Can we get that to 200? I'm gonna challenge you guys. 200 likes.
Why they didn't mention it. So during the roadmap, they said nothing about Relic. We knew we were getting one. They said nothing. And this is why. Because hindsight. This is why I like covering a live game, because now I get to go back and remake all the posts where I was wrong. I love it. Almost as much as I love drinking coffee out of this fine fashionista mug. Get yours today. I am going to, for those of you that don't know,
All right,
I was on Lulu being clipped promoting their mug, and now I just want to be the unofficial spokesperson. So I'm just going to keep promoting their mug until I get on there.
Yeah.
Guys, I now have to do Hildebrand. I mean, I was going to do it at some point. I just was saving it. Now I have to do it.
Right.
And that's fine. I didn't know when I was going to set aside time.
So
I need to do the role quests. I haven't done my role quest for Endwalker either. That's why I can't do Mentor Roulette.
I haven't done the role quest, but the oh my gosh, like
So if you have not touched Hildebrand, you have until 6/25. Guys, late August, 2 months to the patch cycle. So you're looking October, September, late September at the earliest. So you've got time, but you have until September, maybe October. You have until beer drinking season. For those of you that believe that's seasonal, to get your Hildy done.
oh man. The Omnicrons are going to be the disciples of the land gathering tribal quests.
Man, just think about how destructive they would be when they came across a time node that screwed them over.
And Sarcastic Geek for a year at
Does that mean we're
tier
getting
1.
Skysteel tools again? I've been hoping we would. They just haven't confirmed it. The crafting and gathering relics. I was hoping we were getting them again. And I wondered if we'd be rebuilding Garlemald. And Yoshi P's address to will we be rebuilding Garlemald says, I see many of you asking about whether or not we're going to rebuild Garlemald. And Chris is talking about Mentor Roulette. Like he just pivoted. Yeah. Like he said that he knew that he saw our question and then just never answered it. He just changed the subject. So, but I mean, that was pre-Endwalker, so he couldn't even talk about Garlemald. It'll be nice to use that zone, that little lonely bar there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm happy. Yeah,
without crying. You have to have the music muted. I wish we could choose to go back. I wish it could rotate, or you could choose like, do you have the vocals? Because I like that song without the vocals too, and I would like to mix it in.
That'd be a cool feature.
He was like, "Why would you want to?" I mean, well, because we like building things. Plus, it causes housing drama, and we all really enjoy that adds 6 negative thoughts and 1 positive thought to our lives.
Reject humanity, become
some of you were expecting Lopreets. I was expecting them to be crafters.
The Lopreets.
We had one of them go a bit rogue on our Twitter account the other day. They did. For those of you who didn't see, they changed the Twitter account, the Final Fantasy Twitter account, to Tweeting Way briefly. It went through a little a Lopreet kind of took over, did some shenanigans.
Guys, I've got breaking news. A new dungeon. The Fell Court of Troia.
Okay. Neat. Did we get a screenshot?
I would assume so.
Sometimes we
As
usually do.
always, a new dungeon, part of the MSQ.
This will be locked behind MSQ. This will drop gear that if you are in best in slot will not be relevant, and if you haven't played since 6.0 launch will be amazing. Actually, if you're fully caught up on gear from this point forward, from the 0.1 patch onward, you are probably going to constantly feel like, oh, I guess this gear's for my alt jobs, because... But it's neat for cosmetics. Like, I really like the Kataisa set. Kataisa set is stunning.
We're getting some screenshots of the new dungeon here.
We're going to get 2.
This kind of makes me think of Hollis Holly, just that first one.
It does. It does. It's a very open-minded bedroom.
Ooh. I like it.
Okay, so I'm trying to keep this relatively like spoiler-free, as spoiler-free as they keep it. But like, I actually think I know where we're. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! I wish I could say that like Aspen. Oh my gosh!
My.
Okay.
Someone said my.
I'm ready.
Someone said my house.
Looks
That's
like
my
we're
house.
Still some Void scent.
New dungeon housing confirmed. Chat was somebody on the Yoshi Beach chat was saying, "Oh, my house, wonderful."
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we could be building back to fighting somebody that everybody wants to fight one more time. I think universally, I just constantly hear that everybody likes fighting them. They like having them as a villain. What if we bring them back?
Yoshi says
Yoshi did say this is where the GMs actually live, and that's where they are before they go to work. GMs are void set.
I should get it like a controller tattoo, because HT was asking, do you prefer playing with controller? Like, it is legitimately why I play Final Fantasy 14 as much as I do.
Yeah, Brian doesn't even like Final Fantasy, just other games don't have better controller support. I mean, he hates Barg and it has controller, like, so it's worth dealing with. Now, we will have a new trial, but he can't tell you more about that. And then we're going to be getting an extreme to that trial, which will drop yet another mount. Remember that if you collect all these mounts as you go, historically we've gotten a meta mount at the end of the expansion for collecting them all. Fun little quest line. You get to go talk to Yoshi, at least the early ones. I haven't done a dragon one yet, but you get to go talk to Yoshi P, and Yoshi P's in game, and he's like, "Hey, buddy," and you get to have a neat little quest. It's very rewarding. I like it. He did say the number of question marks isn't actually related to the name. For those of you counting there, I think they should have put a different number in the extreme just to mess with people. Instead of
it's not the same.
6.
The first line does not equal second line. Reject the password. Oh my god.
He said this will be secret until release. We don't have a PTR in this game, guys, so we're fairly good at it. The community does sometimes get a hold of leaks. Those cause just as many, if not more, problems than help, because it's how we found like cash shop mounts that we thought weren't going to be cash shop, and people were like, "Oh my god, I can't wait until I can get this mount," and then found out it was cash shop, and we're like, "They lied to me." It's like, no, you snuck into their bedroom and stole something, and now you're mad that like it's not what you thought it was. Like, oh, new raids, guys, round 2. For anybody that this is their first expansion to raid. We get 3 sets of raids historically. We get 4 with 0.0 and the Savage 2 weeks after. We get 4 with 0.2 and 4 with 0.4. Historically, the Savage has not been delayed, but there was a request during the media tour that Yoshi P took a question from, I believe, Ms. Tech, where he said they would be willing to consider delaying Savage. They're at least going to look at it. Would they delay Savage? And now Yoshi P's saying about Savage. Oh my god, please delay it. Please delay it. Please delay it. That gives Savage Raiders a chance to like enjoy the content. Delay it. It's been 9 years since Final Fantasy started, and the content release timings have always been the same. Oh my god, he's gonna do it.
At least by like 2 weeks, do you think?
Oh, please, 2 weeks.
Normal Savage
Normally Savage were released on the same day. Yeah, that's true, Yoshi P. They have been for the last 9 years. That is not a reason to keep doing it, especially now that patch cycles are longer. They're at least patch cycles are at least 2 weeks longer. Savage
1 week
will be 1 week. Fair enough. That's one lockout. That's huge, guys. That is a massive gift to anybody in the community that likes Savage. They designed Savage to be something that, while you should have to fight to be good at the game, is designed to be something that can be enjoyed by everybody in the community if they want. And so the idea that you would want to hop in week one, but then you're trying to enjoy all the new content has been, that's amazing. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Way to go, Yoshi P. That's a huge step in the right direction. I think 2 weeks would have been a little better in my opinion, but we can't complain. That's great. They could leave it 1 week. The same day thing was a little junk.
Well, especially because when you look at how Savage rolls out with the expansion, it's always a little bit staggered anyway. And so it's just like, okay.
1 week. There we go. I love it. So good. Now, let's talk about that probably. We're aware that especially for the world first race, delaying will influence a lot. I don't think it's just the world first race. Doing it early on, for people that like doing blind progression, they like doing progression without having seen it. The community is very forgiving early on that you don't know the strategy, but that goes away very rapidly. So anybody who's like, well, I spent the first week or two doing story, you're expected. So that's good. There were requests for and against it. He said, please consider this a test run. So they have thought about this. I think this is good. Guys, be sure, positive feedback if you like this. Be sure to
and
toss
then
that.
Feedback is absolutely critical, because if this is essentially like where if the Raiders are coming in and everybody's happy with it, like, great. At least they're trying something, as opposed to like, well, like, we don't really, like, that's the thing. It's like, experiment, iterate, find the best solution.
This is good. This is good. What are the sheer odds that we would be exactly right with something we did 9 years ago? Everybody, think about who you were 9 years ago and just assume, what if that person was right about everything? I doubt it. That you've learned some things. All right. That's good. Look at this. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Huh? This is one of the arenas.
I think it's just going to change the world first progression Raiders, like what their strategy is, because it's like,
now they all get to see normal.
They get to see normal. They get to practice. They get to practice on normal. They get to make sure they got, like farming, and you have all the gear things. And so, like, I think essentially they have, I doubt that it's going to be any less intense.
They have 1 week of, they'll have 1 week of tomes too. So this is going to change gear progression. Do tomes matter in Savage? I don't know how that works. Brian and I don't do Savage.
You can get the new tome. You'll cap out. You'll be able to pick up like a piece of gear.
Cool. We've cleared some, but we don't. That's not historically what we're associated with. Unreal, guys. For anybody that doesn't know what Unreal is, we scale an old trial up, and some good music from this one. And then we have it around for one patch cycle. So right now it's Ultima, and that will go away with patch 6.2, and we will go into Containment Bay S1T7 Sephora. And that's the music, right?
Yep.
Sephora. Yep. Okay. Very cool. And then we will get to do that from 6.2 to 6.3, where we will get another one. There's a loot system tied to it called Faux Hollows, where you get to talk to a fox or something. They said at some point they'd like to bring them back around. So I was hoping at some point they'd have enough in a backlog that they would release a new one and a recycled one. So we'd have two running simultaneously. There you go. They could delay tomes. They could.
Mm-hmm. Thank you guys for the 150 likes here on the YouTube side of it. Trying to push for 200. So see if we can't pick up 50 more from the almost 600 people who are hanging out with us.
Now, the combat system has changed slightly. So to bring this up to current tier with current abilities, sometimes they have to change them ever so slightly to make them, they're meant to be achievable. And so he said there's an Earthshaker mechanic where two people get targeted. That used to be proximity damage, but they removed that. Tanks also melting during the ad phase. A lot of adjustments were needed. Cool.
That's actually a good point. Good. There's plenty of time to sync and relearn the Sephiroth fight, so you can go and challenge it to a degree. Like like
you can always minimum level to it. I think minimum level is still harder than Unreal.
Oh yeah,
Unreal is meant to be clearable. It's meant to die. Almost dropped something. Whoa. Here in the waking sands, I almost made a mess. We wouldn't want to do that. The janitorial staff would have to pray return. The janitorial staff here in my waking sands is me. I have to clean this office.
Job adjustments, guys. Job adjustments. This will cause probably the most amount of stress.
All right. They're not going to go over a lot. They're going to give a couple examples. They used to give a lot here, and that just made people mad. For anybody that just went through the Guild Wars 4 days. Then they started doing it in the part 2. That still made people mad. We're going to get final adjustments in the patch notes when the patch goes offline. Like when it goes offline, that's when we're going to get it. So they're just going to give some examples. These are just historical. Like lately, these have just been examples of the kinds of things they're thinking of. Numbers still subject to moving. So
for both PvE and PvP.
we're all gonna be calm.
Hopefully we don't see another like
everybody in the community is going to be adults. In PvP, we're trying to adjust the matching for crystalline conflicts. So pre-discussing queuing and at the same time won't work that easily anymore. Oh. So for anybody that's been in Moody Moomba's community, for example, they like to queue together. So is that what he's talking about?
I would have to assume that's connection.
And so you could get into a match with your friends. Now, they were just doing it for fun. So even if they were against each other, they're just killing each other. I wonder what all that's going to do. Extensive adjustments to Dragoon and Astro. Those were the 2 jobs that people were speculating would get the next big round of Summoner Monk style adjustments. And they were postponed. They aren't ready. They've decided to delay the adjustments that were announced. That was what people thought was next. Grim says they're always calm. Just follow Grim. Follow Grim. Fido is not
too
calm.
much.
Ignore Fido.
They said it was too much that was needed to be done.
I mean, they tried to scrape Dragoon all the way off the floor, and they just were like, it's really on there. Like, you ever just, like, you're chipping away at it. It's just, like, stuck. Cool. People have asked if I'm going to tier list all the jobs as I level them, but I didn't learn them as I level them, so it would just be feelings or my facts. So I can't imagine that video would be anything but well
but that's the it doesn't matter. It's if you any tier list, especially within the 14 community, it's like, how could you do it?
Maybe I could get reacted to by Zeno. I love his content, and watching him rip me to pieces would be, oh, I do. I legitimately like his content. Extensive adjustments to Dragoon and Astro jobs have been postponed. Tell us more. Aside from the patch notes, we will also go into further detail on why and how we decide to do future job adjustments. Remember, they tried a 6.11a. It had been a long time since they did a lettered patch. Brian and I were like, why would you do a lettered patch? All you're doing is increasing the chance you make a mistake, and you're not really gaining anything. And then it landed poorly. And they were like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do lettered patches. We're like, yeah, you already learned that lesson.
Right.
We used to do lettered patches, and you were like, these are terrible. And we stopped doing them, and you brought them back. And we had to, this is why history is important. Otherwise, we are doomed to repeat ourselves. They will be in written form. So I will not be forgetting things.
Critical and direct hit adjustments are going to be on the way.
Can you imagine if Warrior was allowed to share melds with other tanks? Just for a second, just picture everybody in their mind, close your eyes. Just imagine you had a tank set and then you put it on a paladin and then you switch to warrior and nothing bad happened. What if we had job specific melds? How cool would that be? I don't think they would ever be able to do that. I don't think the loot system's designed to do it, but it would be neat. Job specific melds would be great. And it would give us more use for materia. God, my God, the game's gotten loose fast and loose with materia. They're planning on adjustments for instances in which buffs, debuffs, and attributes related to current crits and direct hits do not result in the expected benefits. You could read that as, do they give us unexpected benefits? Like, now you're a bird, Brian.
I've always been a bird, Chris. I've always been a bird. More details in part 2.
So, with it being end of August, is part 2 first week of first Friday in August? You think it's the 5th for the second live letter?
Okay, so back to calendar content's best content.
My original guess was the 29th, but I think you gotta kick that out.
So if
12th,
the 23rd, if the 23rd ends up being the patch day, then I would put it on the 12th. If the
Okay.
30th is the patch day, then I would put that on the 19th.
Whoa! Screw the first week of August, guys. All right, PvP Series 2. Series 2. Remember that series and season are different things. So season of Crystalline Conflict, those of you that ranked your way up to Crystal because you're amazing or you were the first ones to discover White Mage, you get your rewards on the 5th, and we move into the next season. Series is the big thing. That's where you get your Ice Crown cosmetics that don't fit on Rothgar, I think. And so that is done on the patch cycles. So they're a little bit longer. And so that will be in 0.2. They did say that the series rewards would be acquirable in the season after. So 0.2, you'll be able to acquire the 0.1 ones and trade for those little gem things that you buy like extra adventure plates with. After that, it sounded like they were kind of going away. So it's not like FOMO, like fear of missing out. It's like fear of slowly missing out. So it's a little Phosmo, which I think might be a Final Fantasy 14 unique term. We'll see. And then Rival Wings, they said, was targeting 6.2 coming back. It does look like that is coming back. And it was supposed to be ready. It just wasn't ready up until now. So they said, hey, we're gonna have to kick it out to 0.2.
Yeah.
Which I think is fair. For those of you that don't know, that's like a MOBA type thing, and you can like be in big vehicles. Like there's like it's like Titanfall MOBA Final Fantasy 14 edition. I've never really understood it, so that's probably like a bad summary, but that's how it feels to me. And feelings are my facts. Season 3.
Duty support added for Snowcloak, Keeper of the Lake, Summall, the Airy, and the Vault. So that's going to be in 6.2, because I even saw earlier chat was asking about when we're going to see the Heavensward dungeons added. And I go, they're just going to keep, staggering those out over the course up to 7.0.
So the plan was 0.1 is base ARR, 0.2 is patch content ARR and the beginning of Heavensward, the original roadmap. 0.3 was the rest of Heavensward and its patch content. 0.4 and 5, somewhere in there, we would take care of Stormblood. Obviously, Shadowbringers and Beyond already has it. So by the end of this expansion, we will have duty support for all MSQ 4-man content. They said in 7.0, they want to go back and try to do the 8-man MSQ trials, and they're considering, would it be possible to create a Crystal Tower way to do it, so that theoretically somebody would be able to play all the way into 7.0, even at 8 in the morning Oceanic time when there's nobody on as a DPS with no weights.
Yeah,
they could just play whatever class they wanted, and they could just straight solo the MSQ portion. This is not going to take duty support into Savage or Extreme. He says he has no interest in that. They do still want there to be that MMO component, which is especially slated at endgame. But when people are going through the Final Fantasy experience, let them just have a Final Fantasy experience.
And what it looks like to see confirmed, it looks like we're going to have Alice, we're going to have Alphino, we're going to have the Scions. I don't know, I'm drawing a blank on the Dragon.
Now, when Brian and I had a chance to interview Yoshi P back going into Shadowbringers, he said that duty support couldn't go backward because of a number of reasons. Those reasons have gone away, and so now it does go backwards. But one of the things he said is it would be hard to do
thank you.
Actual Scions, because there are a lot of times in the story where like you're with a Scion and the Scion says, hey, I'm going left, you go right. It wouldn't make sense for them to be in the dungeon. That's not true of every dungeon. So if you look at the ARR ones, we actually have a base set of NPCs, and that NPCs evolves into being Scions and into being like the various grand companies. So if you look, it's the same NPCs. But they're just generic NPCs. So I wonder if that would change. He said a lot of our staff played the game before joining the team, and they have a very good understanding of what changes and additions would be enjoyed by the community. Steps of Faith will be a solo instanced battle now.
Oh man, the old man 14 player in me goes, that's sad. I wish there were.
What's that mean for Blue Mage? Doesn't Blue Mage get an ability there? Isn't that where we get like our turtle ability?
You probably still get that ability. You just go do it solo. Solo Steps of Faith. It looks like chat is generally positive on that. I'm like, I would love to see it have an option where people can do that. Whoa. Was Thorn March really slowing people down?
Can we get a ultimate King Mugamog? Just as a statement to toss into space. I know that somewhere Mr. Happy just went, gross.
And 207 likes, guys. You did it. Thank you all so much. We must have
Not
300
just you
votes
got
on the
4
poll.
ads. I think
Generally,
the ads on Twitch are very, very short. They're like 10 or 15 seconds. So like total to ad time, but mid rolls just are what they are. For being the first 8-man trial in story, Thorn March is very difficult. We've completely revamped it. Were groups failing it?
I always just kind of felt like, oh, we got Thorn March, and we would just melt it.
Yeah, and people put marks out even in like normal, and it's like, why are these marked? But like, it's fine. Fascinating. I'd love to see the data that back that up. They said a veteran might be disappointed by the content now, so no need to go and try it out. Wait for it to be in your roulette. That's how I felt about MSQ. I didn't go try all 3. I just kept rouletting it each day, and like eventually I got to try all 3.
That's the same way I kind of feel about the changes to the dungeons as I do a kind of a leveling roulette. When I get kind of those, I'm like, oh, that's changed. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Total Rock was the big winner. Total Rock. Oh my god, it's so good now.
Battled content.
Battle. All right.
Variant dungeons, not like we were calling them like
They're always working titles. They're always working
variant.
Titles. All right. Or the word criterion is leaving. Get it out of your vocabulary.
We are collabing with Loki, the Disney Plus series.
Years from now, we will go, what was that working title? Back in my day, we had calling cards and criterion dungeons. You mean variants and adventure plates?
Yeah.
All right.
Variant dungeons time.
This is not New Deep Dungeon. Remember, that's coming in 6.3. We also are getting new variant dungeons in 6.4 and 5, according to the roadmap. These are variable difficulty dungeons. They originally stated as 1 to 4 players. Let's see if that's stuck.
Oh man, it's still 1 to 4. I was hoping it would go to 5. I was really hoping it would go to 5.
Casual play, level 90. Now, is it level 90 play like Bosja, or is it level 90 content? Are we scaling up, or is this leveling content? There's a lot of sources of experience in Endwalker. I'm all for more, but maybe not. No role restrictions.
Job changes permitted.
Yeah. Oh my god, guys, we are Derplander in the trailer.
Yes.
Let me change in mid combat. Can you imagine the chaos? It'll never happen. Enemy strength determined by party size. So this is gonna feel like Deep Dungeons. So solo is the hardest.
I wanted to level up after you beat it, though. Like, I wanted to get harder and you push yourself, because
I was hoping variable wasn't just scaling to party size. That was my original statement when they said it, variable party size, and I was like, I hope that's not what they mean by difficulty. I hope variable difficulty and variable party size are two detached things.
Well, you don't need a healer if you take a warrior. So I mean, now we can really have some kind of fun.
I know. Hashtag delete Astro. Hashtag delete Bard. Actually, I really enjoyed Astro by the time I got to 90.
Route of the progression actually branches based off the player's action. So you have choice, kind of almost like where you pick a door, left or right.
Deep Dungeon kind of feels like that, right? You just need to clear enough of the floor, so you kind of get to pick your pack. There's kind of some strategy that happens when you watch people in high floor clears. Any of you that watched, like, I know Zepp's still working on that. Watching those happy clears was really tense. Even watching it in his edited stuff over on YouTube, I was like, ugh. I'm like, I knew it was already over. You smell mounts, and there's mounts for sure. For sure, there's going to be a mount tied to this. At least one.
A hat. That's all you get.
All right. Here we go. Overview. Continue. Come on, you're killing us. You're teasing it out. Depending on your decisions and movements, there are going to be different routes of progression. Variant dungeon number 1, the Sildine Subterrane. Where is Sildine? I don't know where that is. I'm excited to learn. And he said, so the first one's in Ul'dah? Well, thank you for answering, Yoshipi. I appreciate you. Explore the depths alongside a certain someone.
Do we have a trust that accompanies us?
What if it's a scion? What if it's a
Like,
person?
imagine it's
almost
like
classy enough?
it's four. It can go up to 4, but then you have a guest AI. I don't know.
I like Fido's Daddy Raubon. Come on.
Yeah,
Get
I'm
your
glad we're
fantastic
going.
Lulu mug and
I'm
let's
glad
go.
we're going to kind of explore this,
All right.
having heard of it for so long.
Guys, Xenos. It's got to be Xenos. Everybody would love that. All
Yeah,
stories
still
may enjoy
is
through
part of
multiple
Ulta.
playthroughs. There will be an NPC that will walk with you, and they do talk quite a bit. Depending on the route progression, the story will be different. If you want to enjoy the whole story, you'll have to rerun the dungeon a couple of times. Oh. How many endings do you think there is? Do you know that the MSQ in base Guild Wars has forks, and you choose and you have a different path? So not only do you have different racial beginnings up to like kind of your jobstone point, but you literally, like, as you're doing MSQ, like when you get to Project Archon, you would pick, do I go do Castrum? Do I go do Praetorium? It's incredible. And you only get to do it once per character, so then you're encouraged to do it all. He said, Chad is guessing, Raubon maybe? Who knows?
Pippin?
Unfortunately,
Pippin?
by him saying Raubon, it makes me think it's not Raubon. He's getting in my head. Grim says 5 full path variants. You basing that on roll quests?
Oh, that'd be kind of neat. Oh, that would be kind of neat.
Garleans and me. Gross.
Ooh.
2 Garleans, 1 dungeon. Huh? Huh?
Oh, gross. Oh my goodness. Back in the Wild West of YouTube. Thank you guys for the 225 likes. We got almost 700 people with us today. I don't know. You all want to see if you can't get to 300, at least get a 50% like ratio on the stream? I don't know. It's up to you.
Since there are a few routes, there are actually a lot of places inside this dungeon that are suited for screenshots.
2 Garlands, 1 Gunblade.
Oh, don't make it weird. Don't make it weird.
Too
far.
You opened this can of worms, man.
It's okay. Some of the endings are M for mature, like Final Fantasy 16. Oh my gosh. I can no longer claim safe for work status. I think that my nephew hearing this would be like, I don't understand. 2 Garlands in one place. I don't understand what. He's 9, and so like it's good. It's good. It's like Shrek. Shrek makes a lot of really adult stuff, and I'm sure Brian would watch it with his kids.
Yeah.
And it makes some adult references.
They are going to have more variant dungeons, not every patch, but they currently have planned 2 more for the Point X expansion series.
So the roadmap called those out as 6.4, 6.5.
Okay.
If you guys remember the roadmap.
6.5 would be a really good time to have that, because one of the things
it's historically a longer than typical patch cycle. It also feels longer than typical because many of us are hyped. We've gone through 3 fan fests at that point. We're ready to be in the new stuff.
Another battle mode called Another Path Criterion Dungeons.
Wait.
For 6.25. Well, hold on. Yeah.
Take back everything we assumed about Criterion getting a new name.
And it's here. And it's in. And the variant and Criterion. Holy crap. Oh my.
This is the second time Criterion's got me. The first time they said Criterion, I said that's going to be the new Deep Dungeon. And then they said and Deep Dungeon. That's the second time they've screwed me here.
So this is level 90 high difficulty challenge for 4.
High difficulty. I was like, man, I hope they're not just like narrative and it's 2 different things. But there's more. Another battle.
Is this our challenging content? Like, is this our finally challenging dungeons? Is this our M plus mythic? Party must complete 1 tank, 1 healer, 2
Light.io. I'm sure all the WoW players will be huge fans. The party composition for these are fixed: 1 tank, 1 healer, 2 DPS.
Very similar
similar to variant dungeons, but overall, the structure enemy strength is entirely different. The route is predetermined, and no NPCs.
Let them level up.
No Garleans, 1 dungeon.
No guardians, one dungeon.
Holy crap. Guys, what if we got Blue Mage in 6-3 at the same time as Deep Dungeon? And they've got another ultimate. They said there's another ultimate in 6-3. I'll believe it when I see it. Sure. I'm rooting for you. Remember, Dragon
Whoa.
Song Ultimate was originally
Another
5.3
Sildy
and then
Subterrane
5.5.
and another Sildy Subterrane Savage. So there's a Savage version of the Criterion Dungeon. This
has been asked for in every media
Yeah.
tour that I can remember.
holy freaking crap.
People have called it Mythic Plus. People have called it Fractals. People have called it Savage. People have called it Extreme. People have called it a million things.
With Savage providing additional challenges. So the base one is still difficult. They're saying like it is already difficult. The Savage adds additional challenges to the dungeons. This has me excited.
Challenges?
Holy crap, this is great. And it's coming into 0.25, so we could have like the casual, hey, we're scaling and challenging, and this sounds like really interesting content.
Meanwhile, WoW's like, what if we released an expansion 3 months before it was ready? I'm looking forward to Dragonflight, but like when they're like, it'll be ready in December, I believe it'll publish in December.
Yeah.
I'll play it. You guys are making me nervous.
You can kind of think of the other dungeon being normal mode, the first dungeon in Criterion being extreme.
Like I'm in a match for Savage Dungeons. That's so funny. Best of luck to you. Oh my gosh. I watched Mo Reigns do Party Finder Savage for weeks, and at no point did I envy him. I was like, wow, I really think that's a cool thing he's doing.
Ooh.
That I want nothing to do with.
Normal methods of resurrection are prohibited, but each player is granted a limited number of revival actions. So
Good.
That's
There you
so
go,
smart.
Sia. There you go. Bring that Black Mage.
Right, because rather than like, oh, I got to bring in we definitely need to bring in another, like, we can't bring a Black Mage. Now bring your Black Mage. Doesn't matter. This is great.
Good.
This is great.
Good. Limited revives has been a question of should they consider it in Savage raids for a while. And they've never really, like, I don't know if they've thought about it.
This
but
would
like,
be a
it's
great
never been,
test
like,
for
big
dungeons.
public, this would be a great way to test it.
Mm-hmm.
If people like this, it could work it. So this prevents certain comps having more raises than others. Yeah,
exactly.
It does.
Well, that's one of the things, especially with 4-man content.
Oh my gosh.
Defeated enemies do not revive after a party KO, though. That's the difference in the dungeon.
Normal modes are prohibited. That's so cool. I like it. I like it. Like Riku with 21 months. Thanks for sharing Prime. 21
Yeah, it has a kind of bar decent arsenal. It has a kind of,
That's
DR.
a piece of content that I was like, I didn't know. I dropped off the Eureka train and I didn't know. I need to go back and do it. I've been too busy wanting experience. I've missed out on a lot of content in the game.
No matchmaking for Savage.
But now I have every job cap. That's my first time in an MMO to ever have every single crafting.
Holy
and
crap. All methods of resurrection in Savage are prohibited. You die, you dead.
I see your deep dungeon and I call you a filthy casual.
Somebody
I
clip
see
that.
your solo deep dungeon and I say, no. There's no Palmander. You're trash. All defeated enemies revive after the party KO.
You trash, kid. You trash.
Yeah, that P6 wipe, nothing. Back to the beginning. Let's see Todd get tilted now. Game on.
Game on.
Whoa. Time constraint, of course, obviously. Deep Dungeon already had it. Mythic Plus, Fractals. Enemies become much stronger. Oh, man. Guys, I am pumped. And if you don't beat the whole thing within a certain amount of time, oh, what a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
All enemies will be buffed. This is like a Texas high school football coach that says, you're going to run a lap for me. And if you don't run it in under the amount of time I tell you, you're going to run it again. Because everybody knows fatigue makes you faster. This is good. This is
really exciting.
Well. Yeah,
this is really exciting because I love dungeon content and I've long felt like All right.
Enemies getting that echo. Getting that sweet, sweet echo. That Heidelin love.
Distorted. And somebody needs to make that meme for sure, but Distorted says this: all enemies become Giga Chads.
Oh, man.
Oh, just casually strolling through this Criterion Dungeon Savage, and then it's like,
Yeah,
oh, hello.
get smacked. Guys, I am pumped.
Oh, dude, this is great.
I am pumped. This is amazing. What a great live letter. This is part 1 of part 1.
Yeah.
We have part 2 of part 1. We have part 1 of part 2. We have part 2 of part 2. Then we have patch notes. And then we have content.
We have content. We got less than 40 likes to hit a 300 liked stream.
Oh
so
my God.
Getting close, guys. And then I don't know how they like over on Twitch, but you can just drop a thumbs up emote or something. If you don't know what to say over here on YouTube, though, you can also drop in emotes.
Let's see Rich carry a 4-man. Come on, bud.
This is gonna be good. This is gonna be it's gonna be. Oh, this has me excited as somebody who likes dungeons and isn't like, oh yeah, I don't feel like throwing myself against a raid for that
now
long.
just to toss some dynamite in the water here and see what comes up. Yoshipi has now said it's time for a little break, and then afterwards we're gonna do this we're gonna talk about this little thing called Island Sanctuary.
Island Sanctuary.
Oh man, he's gonna take. He said it
yeah.
continues at 10. I hope he means 10 minutes because that's only 4 minutes, bro.
Yeah,
that's
probably
only
10.
4 minutes. That's only 4 minutes. That's hardly enough time for me to refill
Variant
this amazing
and Criterion,
mug.
baby.
I have
Variant
yet to
and
see
Criterion.
a coffee mug that holds coffee better than the fashionista mug. Oh, just saying. Remember when players complained about lack of content? Well, we buffed that content. It slapped those players in the face. Oh my god.
And that's just such the cycle. Like I was sitting here just kind of like, okay. Oh, what is that? I wish I could just kind of reply in the comments like, you must be new meme. Like, oh, welcome to, 0.1.0, it's, just wait and you'll be excited.
Now this is all 6.2. So we're still looking at 6.3, bringing us Deep Dungeon. 6.3, bringing us another Ultimate, the first Ultimate that was originally slated for Endwalker. We're still talking about when we get another Alliance raid being in 6.3. We're still talking about Blue Mage hasn't been mentioned. So like all these things, those are all future live letters.
Yeah.
This is just this year's fall content.
Boom, baby.
Oh my God. Dion, how are you? Guys, this is epic.
All right. So
legendary.
Quick recap to tell you guys what's all been covered so far. Patch 6.2 is looking to be late August. Chat overall, both on Twitch and YouTube here, think that's going to be August 23rd. So that kind of puts you kind of in that time frame to know what is happening there. Obviously main story, obviously new dungeon, obviously a new trial, which they won't talk about what the trial is specifically. Job adjustments that they're going to share with us in more written detail to kind of break down the reasons why. They have tabled the Astrologian Dragoon overhauls until later, and they'll give a reason as to kind of they just need a lot more work for those two different jobs. And then it goes into, and let me know if I miss anything, Chris, the Criterion and the Variant Dungeons. A multi-branching Variant Dungeons is kind of like your normal dungeon multi-branching path. You can go in, no role restrictions. You can change jobs in the dungeon. You can do all these different things. It's got different paths. You can experience all the story as you go with it. And apparently there's going to be an NPC that accompanies you on this, whether that's connected to the role or more, we don't know, but it is connected to Ulda with the Silda ruins, and so that's going to be really great. Then in patch 6.25, where I'm assuming we're also going to get Island Sanctuary, but in 6.25 we're getting the another Criterion dungeon. It's building off that Sildil dungeon itself, where the another basically is your extreme difficulty of the dungeon. It doesn't have the branching pathways, but then there's a savage mode of that. The normal Criterion dungeon, or the, I guess whatever, like what we end up kind of terminating it, has limited revives. So party comp doesn't matter. There's no revive actions, but you have so many revives that you can use via these actions. So you want to bring a black mage, you can bring a black mage as part of Prague. Savage has no revives at all. And if you take too much time, the monsters are just going to get harder and harder in this regards. So I think that is the summary in part, but did I miss
anything?
anything?
The relic?
Oh gosh,
And
I
the
can't.
fact that you need to
Oh.
clear Hildebrand to do the relic, and that the Omicrons are going to be involved in gathering.
Yeah, I missed those two things.
Oh my god, it's amazing. It's amazing. The res rules are going to be nuts. They're going to be nuts. Tacky's welcome in. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Oh, are they showing some flow music video? Is that what's happening? Ooh, yeah. Hildy, you have until like September. You're maybe October. You got time. It's 0.25. Take your time. Get to it. I mean, take your time, but get to it. Start now. Take your time. Oh my god. Wow, wow, wow. Now Soken, they are taking a 15-minute break, so I don't know what time they were calling. That they he said he was working on 16 until this morning. His schedule is packed. This is big. This is big. They're doing this bigly. Oh, cool.
I get 4
If
hours.
you guys haven't seen this music video,
I'm gonna go make myself a quick coffee. Chris, entertain everybody, and thanks for the 305 likes over here on YouTube, guys. I really appreciate that support. I'll be right back and grab myself some coffee.
cool. Time was called 10 past the hour. Oh, okay. I misread that. I read 10. 10 past the hour. This is cool. This is 3 videos, but one of those was the Primal concert, so I don't know what all these are. Usually they're like live fan fest. Remember that we would also still have 3 fan fests. Historically, the fan fests have fallen at the 0.4 patch, and so we would not start hearing about fan fest until we're getting into the 0.3. So expect to probably at the earliest hear about fan fest this fall, this winter. Could be early next year, because the first fan fest would be likely the NA fan fest. We'd maybe be looking at next spring, March. So we got time. It's gonna be a little while until we hear about that. So I wouldn't worry about kind of fan fest yet, but kind of have it in your mind. Especially those of you that are gonna want to maybe like budget for it and try to go to it. That's something that like FanFest historically has been about, like, let's say $150 tickets. The tickets haven't been the thing. If any of you have ever been to a convention or you've done something like skiing, while the lift ticket or the ticket price at the door is expensive, it's not the gate. Usually the gate is your airfare and your hotel. That's usually the big one. So setting aside that kind of, 4-digit number is something that like is more achievable if you start now. So any of you that know that maybe you want to try to go to a fan fest in EU, NA, or JP, I would set that aside, start setting that aside now, knowing that like, okay, maybe if you set aside a little bit of money each month, you'll have plenty of time. When do I think we'll get our second limit skill? Do you mean like limited job? What do you mean by limit skill? And then if this was the payoff of less dungeons, then it's worth it. So I think the less dungeons has not been a tit for tat. I don't think it's been a we'll take this and assign it here. I think it's been we're going to continue broadening the game to more people. And so each system as its whole, it just needs to put less burden on the system. Dungeons have become, if you look at ARR dungeons, and they were kind of this exploratory thing, they had you could get lost in Total Rock originally. And they've moved to this kind of hallway where they're a narrative kind of exposition element, and they're not really meant to be challenging. That doesn't mean you can't get killed in them or anything like that. You can't get better at them. But when you compare that to things like Extreme, Savage, where they're meant to call on you being a better player, but be clearable, or Ultimate, where it is meant to punish you, dungeons are the opposite end of the spectrum. So I think pulling back from that, regardless of variance and stuff, has just allowed for the game to have more content in general. You meant second limited job. I don't know if we'll ever get one. We'll see. The limited job got a lot of negative pushback. So in a Final Fantasy XI Vanadil interview, or over on the Vanadil site, Yoshi said like they want to be careful adding jobs to the game that have come from other games. And so I do wonder, like, does that also mean they're taking limited job feedback? I'd love to see one. I think it's probably the best way to add like a Beastmaster or a Puppet Master, where Yoshi has said the combat system in Final Fantasy XIV would be very difficult to create an engaging and well-fit pet class, because there is this idea, if you think about it, if you stop and kind of dwell on it, there's this idea of if the pet is powerful, then why is the Warrior of Light really there? If the Warrior of Light's powerful, do they really need to be bringing a pet into combat? And so it's really hard to kind of balance that. With a limited job, you could just make them both powerful. Who cares? Who cares? So I think that would be really, really good. Dungeons and Hildebrand. Oh, man. Guys, I am so excited. Hildebrand Relics. Hildebrand Relics wins as the thing over here on Twitch that you guys are most excited about. Oh, God. I am so pumped. Oh, now they put up a spoiler warning. Sure, sure.
Yeah, right here, right now.
Okay. All that previous stuff, I ain't nothing but a fang. This over here, this is going to be the spoiler. Come on. If Hildy Relics don't have an
Evelyn
MVP
says they are
costume,
throwing away a big chunk of the player base just to please the high ends. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that, Evelyn?
They literally added a narrative version that they didn't even tell us about. The variant dungeons are entirely screenshot narrative NPC driven. The duty support system goes back and invites people to re-explore the story and not really worry about what job they're on. The relic system is tied to Hildebrand, who was added to the game originally for them to be able to show emotions and animations. And then they're like, oh, people are having fun. I guess we'll keep it in. It's totally casual content. The relic system in general is meant to be the achievable version for people that don't want Savage. This is absolutely something that is meant to be wide-reaching. Keep in mind that in general, the odd-numbered patches feel more casual to me. Ignore the fact that the last one got an ultimate, because that's your alliance raids, and the even-numbered is when you get your Savage. So they do, I would say, if you think of the patches as kind of 60-40, I do think the even-numbered patches feel 60%. Get a little better at the game, challenge yourself, and if that's not your thing, that's fine. And the odd-numbered patches feel a little more like sit back, chill a little, stay a while, and listen. And so that's really kind of how I feel. So the 0.3, but that doesn't mean that there is something for everybody in every patch and every half patch.
Yeah. So Zoila says Criterion Dungeons finally give a reason to get best in slot gear. That's actually one of the things that I've often, told people just about my gaming style. Unless the game gives me something that I want to do that pushes back against me, like I just have never cared. But you're right. Like I'm right with Zoe on that one. Like this is a reason why I want to gear up and I want to get good, because I like this style of content. I like this style of content.
Billy Bob says, just woke up and think this is a list of features from an April Fool's Day. Oh, like a Hildy relic? Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Like, wait a minute. What's happening?
Hildy's like, I got a relic for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll never find it because I buried it somewhere. Like, it's just a complete joke. And then it's like, yeah, but really though, like, what if we did? What if we did that? And it was amazing. Like getting a fashionista mug. What if we did that?
They Snock says the variant dungeon's level 90. Yes, this is level 90. Like I would assume endgame content. We don't know if they're going to open it up like as a terms of leveling where it scales you up, not for the Savage and the Criterion, but for the variant. Like so that's the question is do they open it up? I would assume so, based off of how Endwalker's story is. I would assume that you're looking at having at least finished the MSQ. But the question is, just like with Boja, you get into it and like they say, you can change jobs. So if it's not going to restrict you on changing to a lower level than that. And I'll wait for Chris to get back, because Evelyn's having some points here talking about like elitist thinking, talking about having the normals. And like that's actually there's a discussion to be had there. I don't think that's going to be how it ends up that way. I think that already is happening. Like the idea that, I think that like that happens now without this content. So I'm not gonna put a lot of investment in it. I'd like to get, once Chris gets his headphones back on, look at those long locks of hair. You can't hear me, but he's just combing his hair. He's looking for his headphones. I'm narrating for anybody who's just listening to the audio. Good morning, TG. Oh, yeah. Welcome back. There's an interesting discussion.
I got some Georgia peaches here.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
I want to get me some
we order
bubble
a box
peach tea
from
today.
Georgia. They get picked, put in a cold truck, and shipped here.
I don't want his hair. I just want the forehead. It's like as I got that like the hairline is like
You have plenty of forehead.
I got. I meaning like I'd like to have. I've got forehead for days, baby. No, like I'd like to like yeah, like the yeah back in college, like the hairline was like right here or something like that, and it's just been like.
Fishbowl, we got plenty of live letter news. This has been massive. This has been massive.
Oh my gosh,
Good thing with Criterion. Oh yeah.
We will summarize all of this, and we'll have it as well. Like
More
this
optional content.
Man, I am feeling good. I am feeling really good about what they showed off. I'm feeling really, really good, especially with the variant dungeon. Like that opens it up in terms of like you want to challenge it solo. Oh, we got 2 people. Like imagine, you know how we were doing duos for the deep dungeon, just kind of our challenge as we were just making content, waiting for endwalker. Like this is like this opens that up, and we're still getting a deep dungeon. And, like it's not like we're getting this instead of that, right? Like this is something we've never had before. We've wanted before, and the best thing is. They're going to iterate, like feedback I think is going to be important, and they're going to list like this is a whole new thing. It's a whole new thing. I love it.
One might say they're sparing no expense.
Oh, I honestly think that can only truly be judged once, like at least when I hear that, I think developer mind 18, 24 months. I'm like, okay, great. So in 18 to 24 months, will 7.0, you know, like look like you're like, I can't even imagine this much content. Like to the point where they announce so much content that it's stressful.
Optional content.
Right.
Nothing here is required. This is not to do Savage. You've got to clear the variant dungeons. This is not, you got to go level up the Omicrons. No. So far, everything they've said is not only optional. Remember, when you went over your summary earlier, Savage is delayed by 1 week. Did you mention that? Like,
yeah, I did not.
The game is about enjoying it. The game is about enjoying.
Forfend. Imagine that.
Oh my god.
Imagine games are enjoyable.
Savage locks behind Hildy. I mean, only if you want to enjoy it. No, it's good. It's good. It's all its own silo. Which, remember, the silo is not just that it doesn't require you to do it, which I think is a good thing, but it also means they get real feedback. One of the problems with dev analytics is that if you make content required, then your metric says 90% of the player population cleared it. Therefore, it must be good. It must be fun. They chose to do it. So therefore, it has to be good, right?
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily true. So by making things optional, they get a chance to go, oh, nobody did that.
Not to open up a huge can of worms, though, I do want to touch on what Subdue Radical says that casual elitism is a ridiculous concept. I actually disagree. I think that casual elitism is essentially when a casual player tries to step into content that requires an investment on them. So it's like if I was going to sit here and show up to a Savage raid party and be like, I'm just going to auto attack, you know, it's like this content should be clearable. Like that, I've seen that happen. I would say that casual elitism does exist. It's in an understanding that not everything is made for you. Not everything is clearable. Like some content in a video game will require you to make an investment in that, and that's not just within 14. That's within any game, you know, in that regard. So I see that there are the extremes on both sides, right? Like I say, if you're having fun, you're playing it right, but I would not sit here and tell you to go and say, hey, go put in Savage and find 7 other people who are willing to take an auto attacker, you know, in that regards.
So Yoshpi's back. He said he's coughing a lot today. He's been smoking a bit more. Work is very stressful.
16, I guess. I hope.
And they are saying that the team notices when Yoshpi's heading towards another mountain of work because the interactions go down a lot. He does say he's been getting a lot of requests from the media for interviews, stage panels, public appearances, some of them with some famous people as well. I've had to decline them all. He's busy already. He's too busy. He's too busy. So, hope he's taking care of himself.
I guess
remember,
the term,
he's still got
yeah,
this other game, this tiny little Final Fantasy 16. Maybe you've heard of it. That's coming out. That's coming out next year. We have a release date on that. Summer? Is that right? Summer of 23? Is that right?
Yeah, summer 2023. At this moment, like having all of us live through this global pandemic, etc. Like things are could anything could change.
He does still try to go to events aimed at students, especially that are potentially interested in joining the gaming industry. But yeah, he's just been smoking a bit too much lately.
Island
All right,
time.
guys. Island
Oh god.
Sanctuary.
I really want this to be
Island
good.
Sanctuary. Those two words are all we truly know about this content. 99% of what he said about this content is things it's not. So when you see the press, including some Final Fantasy creators who only cover this game saying Animal Crossing is what it is, that was a misunderstanding. He said it is not Animal Crossing. That was the phrase. So just, here we go. Okay? Island Sanctuary. Now, there are still a lot of bugs, so he's not going to be able to show you in-game footage. That will be during the next live. Remember the part 2 where we usually get to see gameplay. Today will be written information only. Here comes an overview. Build your own personal island sanctuary. You've said nothing. Every single player is going to get their own island. That was the assumption. Come on, Yoshi P, you're killing me. He's got to just be screwing with us. Enjoy new casual solo gameplay, gather materials, care for creatures, build facilities, craft items, and more. He did say this wouldn't be power progression. In the things that he said it wasn't, that did tell us some things.
Yeah.
One of them was that this was not meant to be something you feel you need to do or is tied to power progression. Did they give a release date for 6.2? Late August.
Late August.
Which my guess was like the 9th, 16th range? Mid-August? Late August. Tack a couple of weeks on there. I got to go back and redo my schedule.
No experience as a disciple of the land or hand is required in terms of enjoying this content.
No experience. Doesn't mean doesn't have to do it. Ishgard Restoration didn't require you to have any experience doing it. But if you wanted to step into Diadem, you needed to have one.
Yeah. So, what is this island that every single player gets one of? It has to be small, right?
Now, remember, we are... Oh, it looks like Lost Ark. Are we... Now, remember, we're getting new additions to the map later in the expansion. So, it's going to grow. Can't believe they'd show something that's adult on
This is the... Yeah, I know. Whoa. Two Garleans, one Yoshi P. I don't know.
That sanctuary is massive.
Oh my.
Oh my. We're feeling very after dark today, which is because it is still dark here. I mean, the sun's just coming up. Actually, I can see the light trying to come in.
Size of a Roganin. You want scale? Size of a Roganin right there.
That's your step on me energy right there. A row. It's right there. All right, guys. You hope this is exactly like a WoW garrison. Do you just want the world to burn, Venom? Is that the objective? A mission table? Do you just want to see the world burn? All right, every player's going to get their own for free. For free. Just subscribe to this tiny little game called Final Fantasy XIV. You can try it now with the free trial, including up to the critically acclaimed Heavensward expansion. Gather materials
From nature.
from nature.
If they have
so
trees and
big.
things that actually
It's
like you
so
interact
big.
with, that'd be so wild.
Brian's really into trees falling as an animation.
It
That's
is.
like a thing.
I love
Oh,
it.
God.
I absolutely adore New World. It is the most fun I have especially when the internet's like, this game sucks. I'm like, this is the game that I'm like always playing. Materials are island specific.
And take up yet another inventory. Yet one more menu, guys. Your menus have tabs. Your tabs have bars. Your bars have sliders. Your sliders have checkboxes. Those have drop downs. One more inventory.
Oh my gosh. Craft tools from Gather Materials. Is this like a little Minecraftian?
Little Minecraft?
They were all like Animal Crossing, Minecraft bitches.
Minecraft. $5 billion franchise is a we just call that said content in Final Fantasy XIV. Tools help harvest new resources more effectively. Materials you gather on the island are specifically made for island content. There is a separate inventory, so they will not clutter your normal inventory.
Sage Soj says Ginger was a lumberjack in his past life. Actually, I was born at SFA, which is the home of the lumberjacks. So, Axum Jacks, baby. You can grow some crops. Like, this was starting to feel Minecraftian.
You guess this will fix housing problems? Maybe. It hasn't told us anything about Thavnarian onions. It hasn't told us anything about feeding our chocobos.
Oh, and it's
it hasn't told us
different.
anything about airships or submarines. It hasn't told us anything about if we're going to have a glamour dresser here or if I can use housing items, interior or exterior, to decorate. Those are all the things that in my mind jump to the top of housing.
This gardening is different from estate crops.
Maybe Gemini. Welcome in.
If it lets me use my minions.
Creatures. Are they my creatures?
Yeah, if it's my minions, I'm going to be thrilled.
I just cleared 200 minions in this game. I just cleared 800 pets in WoW. And that is not a big number for either game. It could be way bigger. Way bigger. Like size
are
of
there
a row,
shinies?
like
Keep an eye out for rare coloring and unique critters. Like, are we talking about shinies? We're going to just like have a Minecraft Final Fantasy 14, a little Pokemon going on.
Well, monster.
Oh,
Monster
if they let
Rancher.
us battle
Remember
these things?
Monster Rancher? Oh God, I loved Monster Rancher. Shinies. Oh God. You can even give names to these animals you can capture. What is this?
Build a
It just
base
has
of
questions.
operations.
Build a base of operations. He didn't say house. What is this?
and that's their whole plan, Randy. He says my kids are now going to want to play this just for this piece of content. That's the whole plan. It's like, all right, we're going to build this.
We'd like to go back and put an asterisk on the word free.
Yeah.
Customize its appearances and unlock further tools for development. This better not be Farmville. Dome and Enclave Farmville. I played a lot of Farmville in college. I was already working all-nighters. I could check on my crops every 30 minutes. Who cares?
$14 a month to raise and care for pets. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. How nuts would that be? Like all of release the minions! Yes!
How many?
Yes!
How many? Can I
all of them?
200?
Now I'll have a reason to get them.
200.
Oh, please. Yeah.
You don't know anybody else that likes Monster Rancher? I like Monster Rancher.
Your favorite minions may wander freely within your base.
Chili likes Monster Rancher. That's why I like Chili.
Oh my
The
gosh.
real Chili. Your favorite minions? Only your favorite? How many?
How many could be
Like,
on
there
your
are people
favorites
with
list?
400.
Is it
Can
like
they
20?
release 400? It's sounding like a WoW garrison.
If it's just your favorites, because you can favorite minions, I wonder if it's just that collection. So you have to, pick and choose.
They said they wanted this to last into future expansions. So that's the difference with WoW. That's the problem that WoW runs into, right? Is that your class halls and all that, that's always expansion tied. So it's never ongoing. And it's what Ian said, like they would never put housing in WoW unless it was going to be something that would last beyond one expansion, which is such an atypical thing. That was his way of saying like it would be a big formula change for us to go into that. All right. Creating handicrafts, assemble collected material into handicrafts and export them. Try to align exports with market demand for the best results. They'll be sold for island-specific currency, not guild. Stop putting currencies in this game. Gameplay is not affected by other players' actions. Oh, that is Animal Crossing. Oh my God. Forbes put out an article on how to get the most out of that raccoon. Like what? Because 2020 was a weird time.
2020 was weird.
Exchange accumulated island currency for special items. Oh my God.
I would love it if he's like, and then also you can enhance Island Sanctuary with our new Battle Pass. Let's just burn this world down, baby. Socialize with friends.
Socialize with friends.
Oh, thank goodness.
Invite visitors or travel to the islands with your friends and free company.
Awesome. I like that. I was
now, just to put out something out there. Historically, we have not been able to put a glamour dresser anywhere that there can be multiple players inside the instance at the same time. So if you're wondering why there aren't glamour dressers in free company houses, that's why.
if they call the special currency bells, do you think people will will lose their mind. Yeah, I'm happy that others can visit, because otherwise then it would be like, guys, I'm streaming this. Like, yeah, come on in, hang out, island parties.
Tredden, thank you for 18 months. 18 months when the world was normal. We're about to turn all that upside down with Island Sanctuary, the new minigame within Final Fantasy XIV that is growing rapidly at this moment. I like to be the one that like helps bring expectations down so that we can still be surprised and delighted by things instead of like disappointed. This is have any of you ever eaten a food that you didn't like and you just kind of keep chewing it and like it feels like it's getting bigger in your mouth? That's what this feels like. Like the more I chew on this, it's just growing. We don't expect players to go ham on island developments. You showed us a watercolor and we went ham. What do you think we're going to do with these slides, Yoshi P? The special currency is what you use to acquire rewards. We think of this as rather comfy and casual content. Flying will unlock at some point. Mount speeds are rather high, I think. What?
Yeah. Much anticipated.
So it's not Animal Crossing because it's Animal Crossing and Pokemon and Minecraft and Stardew Valley and World of Warcraft Garrisons. If done correctly, this could be really good content for the game. If do right, no can defend. But like maybe.
Oh my gosh. Zoke, that I'm not gonna repeat that. That's just wrong. Thanks guys for the 333 likes. This is good and good, guys. See if we can't push that to 350. We got 730 people over here with us today.
What is this? I see your Eureka and I call that small. What is this?
Oh god, Perry, this is gonna this is the metaverse.
My expectations were Dome and Enclave. That's where I wanted to set them.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to be more than that. Set it at Dome and Enclave. Where it's like, yeah, I'm glad you added that. Set it there. Everything better than Dome and Enclave is a plus. This is a lot better than Dome and Enclave.
They say you will have to explore the island, but go ahead and with the chat.
Chat asks if NPCs can come visit. If you have feedback like that, let us know. We'll gather ideas for future updates. He said, are there Aether Currents? No. But you're going to have to explore.
Get on those. Get around that island.
During the initial process, you're going to develop the bare minimum on the island. Little Robinson Crusoe. But everything after that, completely up to you. Completely up to you.
And the toaster box asks, is this 0.18 or is this 0.2? And I would say most likely this is going to be 0.25. Setting that expectation. But this is definitely not dropping on Tuesday.
It's not Minecraft. It's still 14. 14. Ha ha. Weather will change, of course, but it's usually sunny. It's usually sunny.
Yeah, I do hope this satisfies some of the itches around the housing aspect of it. But
I mean, if Thabnir doesn't have Thabnarian onions, I don't know how Island Sanctuary is going to.
Right. Well, they said that it's different from a state.
Man, this is so stinking exciting. It's so stinking. It's just, oh God, I'm excited about this. What is this? They
hadn't changed it, Perry. It's legitimately like this is just the translation.
Assume 6.25 because worst case it's 6.2.
Yeah.
Right? Set expectations low. Dome and Enclave 6.25.
Ooh. They're still testing this part, but they are going to allow you to play an orchestrion at the base, but the further you get away, the further the music will sound. So you can be blasting your island with some music.
That's already how their special headphones work.
So they're going to show with in-game footage at the next Producer Letter Live, so expect that sometime around August-ish, the beginning of August.
It's usually about 2 weeks out from the patch. So now that we know the patch is late August, you're looking at early to mid August for that.
And interesting, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, but it says if you've ever cleared a Savage raid, you won't have access to Island Sanctuary.
We wanted to make sure the casuals had something, so we went ahead and locked anybody with a Savage clear from this. Adventure plate and portrait updates. Good.
Yeah.
Transitioning from beta
to official release.
Yeah. Screw you, Fortnite. You don't have to stay in beta for 65 years. In we go. Are we going to get... I want Ultimates, Savage, Island Sanctuary. I want every piece of content to drop adventure plates. Changes to portrait linking. Good. He does say sorry for the wait, but with patch 6.2, the adventure plates and portraits beta version is officially going to end. The portrait linking system was too confusing, so we rebuilt it.
Adventure plate, instant portrait, and gear sets.
This is what it was before 6.2. In the before times, the right now times. You have portrait 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you have an adventure plate, instant portrait, and gear set. A number of portraits could be created and then used for any purposes. When previewing or editing portraits, current gear was reflected. Okay. Why? I don't spend enough time with my adventure plate to understand what the problem was. I'm sure there was one. They listened to feedback. I just literally don't spend enough time adventure plating. The majority of my time learning about the adventure plate system is hanging out in Ponto streams. Who won't sell me a mug? Ponto. Sell a mug, man. Come on. The system was too confusing, and in the end, a lot of portraits ended up just players standing there with no expression. Okay. I think the community also took some and did a lot more than just players standing there with no expression. And I'm sure everybody's been nothing but respectful with Emelians, so I appreciate you guys treating the Leveilleur, Mrs. Leveilleur, very respectfully, as you guys unlock the ability to change her outfit. So what does it mean when we say we rebuilt this? That's what we're asking you. Come on, man.
So adventure plate goes to portrait for adventure plate. Gear set goes to portrait for gear set 1, gear set 2, portrait for gear set 2. Okay.
So you'll create a portrait for each thing. I made my Lala look like he's trapped in a phone.
Adventure portraits after dark.
All right. Ponto's stream is always full of portraits that are 69% wholesome. Actual question, with Hildy being the relic, didn't they also say that Hildy was going to the first? Hildy was on the first. Wasn't he? He was in Shadowbringers.
Mm.
He could randomly appear in the trial, right?
I thought it was the dungeon.
The dungeon?
The heroes,
The dungeon?
yeah. Heroes
Somewhere
Gauntlet.
there. He could show up. Yeah, Heroes Gauntlet.
Oh
I don't know.
no! All the portraits in beta will be lost. So I'm glad I didn't spend an insane amount of time on it. I am excited that he said he wants to bring the portraits into the dungeons and more, which has me excited.
They originally designed it as something to enhance crystalline conflict, the new PvP changes. But they quickly in development were like, I kind of want this to go everywhere. And so it's grown quite a bit. He does say, you know, he is sorry about that. So apology tour continues. Editing portraits as of 6.2. Late August, guys. Late August.
Bye-bye lewd poses.
Adventure
Bye-bye.
plate portraits and search comments may be edited. in the Adventure Plate interface. Portraits may be updated to reflect the current equipment, but players may also choose to edit only camera settings, motions, etc. I like the people who don't take the time of day they play seriously, and it's like every other hour all week long. I play every other hour on the hour.
They're just gonna make more lewd poses. Yeah.
So your Adventure Plate portrait will now be edited within the Adventure Plate settings. I think that's good. I found that really confusing. Legitimately. I tried to mess with it and I was like, I don't understand. There's like menus, but then I have to go to different menus.
Oh, that's nice. Your gear set list will be displayed in the portrait interface now, allowing players to create corresponding portraits for each set. That is going to be, I think that's going to be a real good adjustment. Because I would spend some time and I would finally get it to work, and then I would change my job, and then it'd be like, and then it's back to my like default stare. It's like, oh, come on.
All right. Yeah, because I did try engaging it, and then I went into Crystalline Conflict, and it never had mine up, and I was like, I don't understand. So I just gave up, but I gave up very rapidly. So I just assumed other people figured it out, and I just moved on with my life.
Just quit it really quickly. I'm like, I'm out.
I gave it 3 whole minutes. Why didn't it work? So I wasn't going to complain super publicly that like my 3 minutes didn't yield results.
Yeah.
But like cosmetics aren't my true end game. It's not my thing. I like trying new gameplay experiences. I like playing with other people.
They're going to bring the portraits used during the Dome and Mahjong. That's awesome. Like, just, bring it everywhere. Every piece of content.
I tried Mahjong. It was like a 30-minute wait.
Bringing it to...
Moody Boomba said that she just organized community events where they all queue at the same time. And that kind of guaranteed that... But that's like how PvP Discords were handling PvP. Like, all right, well, if there's not enough of us.
Let's go. Triple
So
triad.
right now, the portrait's only shown in Crystalline Conflict. So 6.2 is going to add it to Mahjong, but when do we add it to like other things? I want to get it for dungeons.
I wonder if they'll just like continue to stagger it. Like, okay, now it's here, then it's here.
They are working on portraits showing in dungeons, but we haven't finished the feature yet, so it'll be a bit in the future.
Nice.
Thank you, Yoshi P. It's like he can hear us. Go ahead and just say anything in chat if you want Yoshi P to hear it. He's here. He's hanging out. And so new poses, new decorative features, a feature for copying the pose camera settings added. Good. That's going to be important now that you can't just use the same photo, right? So if you do want to use it for multiple, you'd be able to copy it. That's good.
Yeah, find the what you like, copy it, and then you can make adjustments if desired.
I mean, the internet is fueled by copy pasta, so here we go. They will keep implementing new poses and animations like limit breaks, etc.
Very nice.
Good.
Very nice.
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 Okay. I mean, it basically is just going to become G-Pose, right?
Yeah.
G-Pose Explorer mode, like all that's like it's just growing. Remember when they were going to add the duty viewer or whatever it was, and it's like one dungeon at a time, or like, oh, that's going to be this amazing thing for
Machinima. Like I thought it was like, yeah, because you could like play, you could get different angles, you can analyze, and then it's like, no. I was like, okay.
No.
Thanks, Hannah.
Elegant tombstones of
the new tombstone.
When I first started playing this game, I was like, oh my god, it's a new name. And then eventually you're like, eh.
Of causality.
Causality. I read it as casually.
I read casually first, then I was like, there's no way that they're gonna call it casually. I gotta get them casual tombstones.
Casual tombstones.
Oh, we are around 30 likes from 400, so that would extend the goal immensely. Thank you guys for the 368 likes.
Here is why somebody said, hey, I just finished my first pentamelded piece in Lava Todd's chat like last weekend, and chat goes, why?
Why?
Which just like I was like, guys, chill out. Like I'm really happy for them. That's a big moment to be like,
oh, ability to request repairs from other players, both inside and outside of duty. We had this in 1.0, and now it's back, baby.
does it use your?
I don't care.
I just have a question. It's
Yeah.
just a follow-up question.
Just one follow-up. Oh my gosh.
New crafted gear. This feature had a lot of requests. You can ask other players to repair. All right. Savage Prague. Now, world first raiders don't have to level crafting if they don't want to. Once again, something becomes more optional. It kills me when you have 7 people in a raid that can repair their own gear, and we all have to back out because one guy didn't repair his gear and didn't level his crafters. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. Get your life together. Level your crafters or show up prepared. I don't mean after we've been wiping for 2 hours. I mean like second pull. Oh. Come on, man.
Dr. Zoe. Hooray. I'm useful.
So now one has to be on the go.
Thank you.
Wow. What is this?
Display upgrades basically added by level. So you can kind of see like select settable action, combo weapon skill. Wait, is this PvP combo system?
No, it's in regular actions.
I know, but I'm just saying that replacement action. So it goes from that to that.
No, this is
this is combos. This is freaking. This looks combo weapon skill. Bop bop, and then it's like settable action. What do you want to be next? Or it branches. Huh. Wait. Standard and branching views available. Interesting. Fascinating.
Are they going to show us how to play Final Fantasy 14?
Finally, after all these years. we got to get rid of those work to game guides.
We're now excited
it's just showing combo.
Controller guides.
It's just showing combo progression, but that would tell me that like that would be something you would start with, and then ultimately, like if they add in the, I think that's that they have to go that direction. We have massive gaps in skills for different level ranges.
Cool. We worked on the displays of skill actions to display combos. If you prefer the old version, you can still swap to it.
Cool.
Cool. Options. Options. This is a game of options. This is Option Walker. Rare materials added to ethereal reductions performed by miners, botanists, and fishers. This is pretty typical, guys. When we go into the point 2, this is why people are like, oh, I'm going to set up all my materials so I can craft everything on day 1. You're still going to have to go do some gathering.
Glamour dresser capacity expanded from 400 to 800.
I said this was coming.
Double.
I said they're going to double it.
Did they say for 6.2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
In the roadmap.
Awesome.
I believe the roadmap called for that.
Thank you, server team.
Mm-hmm. And I think people will wait until 625 to complain about it. We're adding new plates too. We're adding more plates, Takis. I can pull it up after this. I can pull up the roadmap notes, but they are. We just know that this is all 6.2 as a whole. So some of this is 625, some of this is 6.2. So just keep in mind, guys, like this is all. There could be like 628.
Yeah.
Savage can be 1 week later. That'll probably be numbered as 621. So like the 6.2 as a cycle, a 4-month whole cycle, and it's falling over the summer. So probably 4-month, 1 week. All right. Yoshibi, but I know you guys will complain in 3 months. This is not enough. Oh, I told you. I did say that. I did. I said 625. That's 3 months from now. We're missing a feature that automatically removes everything that we haven't used in a while. Do we want that? But if we do that, those items would never come back. Are you sure you want that? I don't think you do want that. I think you want a new glamour system from the ground up that mimics what Guild Wars and WoW calls normal, where it stores like orchestron scrolls and you just have them all. And it shows the set of everything that's in the game, and you either have collected, have not collected. Yes. Yes. Here we go. Here we go. What else you got for us? There will be more plates. We know we're increasing number of plates. I don't remember if that was 2.2 or not.
They do not
We
have
don't
the data.
have the data on when you last used a piece of glam. Now remember, I mean, the Calamity Salvager is a real thing. So a lot of people have stuff in their glamour dresser that doesn't need to be in there. Adjustments to the order of certain Return of Evilise quests.
Making
In
bacon.
accordance with this quest, making bacon and walk by will become unavailable.
I don't remember this quest though.
You have to make bacon bread for one of them. All right. All right.
Oh, for the like afterward, I think, where you're turning those in.
Couldn't tell you.
Totally forgettable quests, as Chad says. It's like totally forgettable. And thank you guys for the 403 likes. I really appreciate that.
Every once in a while, they're just like, guys.
Yeah.
In patch 2.35, there's a phrase that says, and I will go to the house. And now it's going to say, and to the house I will go. And we're all like, okay. Like, I don't. Okay. What does that have to do with anything?
Island Sanctuary is confirmed for patch 6.25. So Island Sanctuary will drop in the mid patch of the 6.2 cycle. So that would put us into October or early November timeframe for Island Sanctuary.
And Yoshi P says, this is it for today, guys. That's all. That's all. That's all. Only like 67 moments where Brian and I were like, are you kidding me? And by the time you know it, there's already the next Ultimate around the corner. They really are going to have one in 6.3. There is no way. They put that on the roadmap, and I think I laughed out loud. Remember, 5.3 was when Dragon Song was supposed to be.
Right.
And then they're like, actually, we meant 5.5. Did I say 5.5? I meant 6.1. So when they're like, okay, after 6.1, we'll just have another one in 6.3. Sure you will.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Next thing you know, you're going to tell me Criterion Dungeons has like multiple modes. Yeah, that'd be wild.
Few more announcements they've got.
But I'd like you to watch this video first. Oh.
That's my bad. You're not bringing it into the music.
Primals?
Looks like it. Yeah. Oh, so much fun. I love that song. Say a lot of attendants came to the concert alone solo, but they're all Warrior of Lights. Primals live in Japan Beyond the Shadow on sale 9/14/2022. Okay, cool. Another Primals concert. Primals live in Japan Beyond the Shadow. Oh, Blu-ray.
先日行われましたザ・プライマルズライブインジャパンビヨンドザ・シャドウのブルーレイが発売決定となりましたというお知らせです。こちらがですね、なんと意外とすぐ来ます。9月
You get a couple orchestra enrolls.
で、価格がご覧の通り6000、日本だと6050円となっております。で、ライブの模様もちろん、全21
A little bit of fly by the seat of my pants to make sure that Twitch could get the audio on that.
あとはアイメイトセレクトによるナレーション
Like, okay.
全て収録されております
Oh,
いうことと、
I have 4 monitors, so if you guys are wondering why there's things like flying everywhere.
オーケストリオンフが2つですね。クローズインディスタンスと、ここにありと。
I think this is the concert that they just did, but it's the Blu-ray release, and you can get some bonus codes. So you maybe can now.
Blu-ray the
Live
promo
from
concert
Viewers.
from earlier this month, released in September, comes with the item codes for the 2 orchestra rolls.
なんか、
うん
ついこの間の
えついこの前やろ。
まあ実際そうです。
この前のことのようにっていうか、ついこの前だよ。
でももう気づけば1ヶ月も経ってるんですよ。
I dig it.
だってこれ6月4日5日でしょ。違ったっけ、そのぐらいですよね。ほら、ほら、
そう
もう意外と経ってますよ。
あれそうか。
This is our QVC portion. Anything else to sell? That's it? That's it? A Primal concert? Come on.
でしたよね。
That's basic. You guys can do better.
なんかコメント
You mean like a Final Fantasy vacuum or something?
収録されてんのか気になるっていう
Come on. Level it up. Level it
さ
up.
れてないんじゃない
Something big. Something nuts. Something I'm like, whoa.
急にだぜ。
What about like Final Fantasy picture frames? What about like a really cool coffee mug, but only one that's available in
はい
Japan?
というわけで、ですが出ます。まあこの先もね、プライマルズどんどんね。
Back scratcher.
Back scratcher.
Back scratcher.
まあものすごくいいライブだったので、ぜひあの時の興奮を最高の映像でね、もう一度体験できるということで、ぜひですね。
Oh,
Sort of has a $100 Destiny 2 toaster.
はい
よろしくお願いいたします。ということで最初の
The vacuum of light.
はい。はい。
Of course.
続いて次のお知らせです。
what if Final Fantasy officially sold a cup from the fashionista? The greatest coffee mug money can buy.
FF14 エディションのサマーセールが実施中でございます。こちらがですね、
あ
8月19日までの間、20% オフで
All right.
いただけます。
Man, they are pushing hard on this thing.
これぜひとも
Pushing hard.
イヤホンとか
This sound and body. This is the lend me your ears
そういう方
product,
は
guys.
なかなかね、面白いですから、
うん
ぜひともご検討いただければ。
まあね、フリートライアル
They've been doing sales through
Hi.
content creators. They've been pushing their own
多
sales.
分
They
ね
were
これね、慣れた人は、
giving some
な
away.
んか、外せねえなっていう感じじゃないかな。
You send them
うん。
a picture of your ear,
ので、
or many pictures of your ears, or whatever they're into, and then they
機材、
send you digital
どんな機材使ってて
the ability to like
そうじゃなくて
have sound uniquely for
面白いです。
そうなんです
You.
よ。ソフトウェアでやってくれるんで。
Have you have wildly different
一
ears?
回やるとね、
Not
あれ
helpful. I think you just send them one ear.
他だとちょっと物足りない
If
な。
you're like, my left ear
まあ
is
ぜひね、
3 times bigger than my right ear. That is, in body, I don't think has you. I don't think the immersed game pack can handle
今
that.
までのでいいやって人もいるんで
うん、
まあ本当フリートライアルあるんで、ぜひ一回試してみてください。
There is a free trial for the game pack audio going on. I think players that have experienced it
はい、そして続いての
once
お知らせ
can't go back anymore.
こちら、はい、日本向けのお知らせですが、本日、
Alright.
午後に
New TV show.
はい
ファイナルファンタジー14を吉本芸人が遊び尽くす新番組、
Okay.
FF14 パーティーメンバー募集中。
Yeah, left ear only. See, that's not even my best ear. You know?
ね吉本さんから
It's like
の話
Barely top 2.
しかも全12回。
I'm very pro right ear.
これがなんと
We're gonna sum this all up after.
来週
So they'll go through a little bit of this and then we'll sum it up. We'll go back.
It's gonna be a good show. The stream here on YouTube will automatically take you to the summary, so we'll have them actually broken up into 2 different videos for those of y'all, so you're not like somebody's coming in
まさにバラエティ
for the live stream and it's like, wait a minute, I gotta watch all the way to the end.
No.
Yeah, I have the sound stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't noticed it. I don't understand it. I'm like, all right, sounds like the game.
お送りいただけるということで、
うん
なかなか楽しみですね。
もうぜひ
You just got an email from them telling you your payment was declined. You paid for that in December.
ともご覧
If you pre-order stuff that's not ready to ship, the I don't know what you're mentioning, but like my
ともご期待ください
my lore book, when they delayed the shipping, I've had issues in the past where like then I get a new credit card or something and it gets declined. I almost got screwed out of my Xbox One that way. So they had an option, at least on the Square Enix store, to go ahead and just pay now. And so I went ahead and just, and then they're like, you're aware that like you're letting them dock it, even though it's not going to ship for a while. Like you're just letting them have that interest free. It's like, that's fine. What I don't want is they're like, oh, and then the lore books are sold out and you didn't get yours. So I've already paid for my lore books. So maybe look into that. If you can afford to. Eorzea Cafe. I want to go to one of these at some point. Oh, you meant the immersive sound. Okay.
Yeah, I might have to check that out. I think that's how it is.
Taggy's gonna have to sleep as soon as this is over. Oh, it's late for you. Or approaching early, I think. You don't notice a difference when you have game on speakers, but you notice a huge difference when using good headphones. Awesome. Awesome. Recent important announcements as of July 1. They shared the packet loss information. We talked about the Japanese data centers. That's how this whole thing started. There's 2 new worlds on each of the European data centers. And then they changed the housing classifications to the last 6 being personal, to the last 12 being personal, and the first 6 being free company. So it inverted to being majority personal. But it did give free companies first dibs on those middle wards. And so it gave the groups of players, in theory, first chance at like the mediums and the larges and stuff. Brian's left ear pick would be a PD. I don't know, it didn't really do much for me.
No, man. That's it for the announcements. The QVC portion pretty quick.
Okay. One more thing on packet loss. That's not it for announcements. That's it for announcements. One more thing.
It's the Chris. Hey, Chris, do you have any final thoughts? And you're like, no. But now I'm going to tell you my final thought. You always.
No. I mean, I guess if I had to say just one thing, we could start another topic. What about.
Thanks for hanging out, Toaster Box.
One more thing on packet loss. All right. We were deleting your packets the whole time. We didn't lose anything.
We eradicated it.
I just found that some of you were playing bards, and it's not worth dealing with packets on bards. As a matter of fact, North America yesterday had so many bards playing simultaneously, the entire data center went offline briefly. That really did, like, not because of bards, but the data center really did have a little bit of a hiccup yesterday. Had to wait in queue to get back on. Like a 600 person queue. Midday. It was weird. Weird.
What?
で、結構まだ今国内の大手さんであるんですけど、ちょっとそこはデータいろいろお話して改善したところもあるけど、もうなんか
That was a DDoS? Yeah, that makes sense. After this announcement, we got a lot of data sent from players. We worked with the ISPs together to improve quality of connections, and we really try hard to do all this during maintenances. Deleting Warrior? I mean, they did try, and then Warrior just healed through the delete. So, what are you going to do? The packets aren't lost, they're just out exploring. They're on Island Sanctuary. You'll find them. That's what that blurred section was. It's so many packets. We ask you keep providing data on lags or packet launches in the future as well, so we can keep improving the connection. Oh, okay, we got a bow from him. This really might be it, guys. We're gonna sum this bad boy up.
Oh, it's gonna be good.
They did all that in 2 hours and 48 minutes, and I was live early. I cannot believe that was 2 hours. I said 3. This is so fast. Sometimes these things are an hour longer than this. Seriously.
Yeah.
These can be, sometimes they run like, if there's an interview, they can be 3.5 hours. Oh, especially if they have like product announcements, like guitars.
Cars.
A guitar turned into
A house.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, how crazy would a 14 themed house announcement be? We built a 14 themed house. We know you can't get it in game. There's a lottery for it in the real world. Oh man, I would be so tickled.
皆さんからのデータってものすごい貴重なので、ぜひ引き続きいただければ。
Yeah, so as soon as this ends, guys, as we confirm that it's the last announcement, the YouTube stream will automatically redirect over to the summary itself. So if you guys are just hanging out, just follow the redirect, or I'll go ahead and actually get, you know, the link itself if you guys are curious.
So fast. How did they get? This was so fast.
But there's a ton of information, a lot of great info.
Ton of information.
We'll be able to also highlight your comments. So as a part of the podcast summary and discussion, if you guys are watching that, as a part of that, I'll be able to pull them up on screen, and we can have a lot of good conversations going on about that. So if you guys haven't, that's the link.
All the new housing ward stuff start.
If it doesn't auto redirect.
July 10th, the next lottery.
私驚いたことがあります。言っていて、何って聞いたら、
First lottery after 618.
本当に届くんですねっていうその
Since Square Enix has been operating other games like Final Fantasy XI in the past that required a heavy connections, they've been working together with the ISPs in the past as well. So
I think it's next lottery. So we're in a lottery right now. Then we'll go through our claim window, and then it should kick in. I think it's the 10th.
ちゃんと僕のところに来ますんで、はい。いいこと
So it's a 618 change.
ですし、
All right. We had an intern that was surprised that the feedback he had given in the past had actually reached us and wasn't just
全部来
ignored.
ますんで、はい。ちゃんと一件一件目通します。
Okay.
まあぜひね、有益な情報をお送りいただければ、プレイヤーの皆さんのご自身の環境をね、さらに快適にする協力を。
It feels weird that the intern would think that it was weird they took feedback, because as a player, I feel they take my feedback, and I didn't work there. So I just assume that people who have worked there, it's not the next one.
最近がね、多分長すぎただけ
I can pull it up.
じゃないかな。まあでも言っても2時間やってるか。しっかりやってる。はい。はい。では
Yeah.
最後
Thanks for hanging out with us. I'm glad you had fun.
いただいて締めようかなと思うんです。はい。パッチ 6.1 年やっぱりちょっといろんな初めての試みとか、まあ土地の抽選とかもまあすごい大混乱で大変ご迷惑をおかけしたんですけど、改めて6.2 もまたしっかりね、やってほしいです。大きなトラブルにならない
European Data Center.
たくさんのコンテンツをお届けしてい
EP.
Closing words, please.
大体約、まあ我々開発チーム的には
It will begin Sunday, July 10th.
まあここからね、できるだけ楽しんでいただけ
Ladies
る
and
よう
gentlemen.
に調整
Ladies and gentlemen, I just work here, but
開発等々
The next live letter part
on.
2 will either be the 12th,
近々なんかね
chilly.
the 5th, 12th, or the 19th. Depending on, they said late August, which in my mind that puts us to the 23rd or the 30th, which would put the next live letter either the 12th or the 19th. That would be essentially how I would budget that schedule.
Now, Yoshipi did note that this is a bit shorter than that previous live letters, but no, you may have misunderstood. The previous ones were just too long. The previous, like, 9 years, 7 years, whenever these started being that long. We're rushing to finish everything for 6.2. We only have a little over a month to do everything, but we're giving our best to finish all adjustments. Maybe there's going to be a Walk with Yoshi stream again at some point. Please look forward to it. That's it for today. See you next time. All right. Time to do the summary.
Okay, I sent you the link for the podcast, so I'm gonna bop into that, and then I'll see you in a second. And then for you guys over here on YouTube, it should automatically take you to it, but you'll find it there. So I'll see you in a second, Chris. There we go. Yeah. Share screen 2, and I'm gonna say go live. Sweet. So it should technically be live over here. Chris is being added in. Perfect. Easy breezy. Now it's looking like it's going live. It should be, at least once I confirm that that is in fact the case. Awesome. Thanks guys for the free 3 likes. And let me go ahead. Guys, I'm gonna end stream over here on the YouTube side. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, the link for the stream is right there. Where is my app? There we go. All right, I'll see you guys over on the summary stream here in just